In the city of Black Earth of the Immortal Kingdom lay the gravel desert. In this land, where camouflaged animals lived, a stampede broke out. Suddenly, desert ghost wolves were chasing a group of girls screaming for help. They who had only ever faced level 1 monsters ran into level 3 wolves and fled. The warrior and leader of the group pointed to a forest ahead. If we get to the trees, we can survive. However, she was worried because the ghost wolves never gave up the hunt for their prey. Already injured, they had no choice but to run. However, in the middle of their escape, the mage tripped and fell to the ground. Worried about Xiaori, the warrior and the cleric turned around, terrified. But the wolves were already pouncing on their companion. Xiaori saw her life flash before her eyes, but at the last second, an attack knocked down the wolf that was attacking her. The beast struck by the sword fell beside her, and soon someone approached, surprisingly pulling out the blade. Seeing a hooded person, Xiaori wondered who had saved her. Upon checking the person's info, however, she discovered he was level 1. The man pulled back his hood, revealing himself to be surprisingly a complete noob. Still, he faced the pack with a serious look. He watched the monsters, too strong to be just level 3, advance. With sword in hand, he launched forward with a sharp and dark gaze. 3 wolves leaped at him, bearing claws and fangs, but his attacks drew a continuous arc, eliminating them before they could prove to be a threat. The girls were shocked to see the level 1 young man display such strength. The sword he wielded caught their attention. The group's leader couldn't believe he had defeated 4 desert ghost wolves with a simple newbie sword. Xiaorui was then surprised to notice something on the horizon. A new pack of wolves had appeared. Faced with the massive horde, they hid behind the mysterious man. But soon fear took over and they ran. Run this wolf horde could wipe out a newbie village completely, she warned the young man. But he just smiled, extending his hand. A power overflowed around him, and 5 cards appeared. With them, the system's voice echoed. Player, Lin Yuan, would you like to summon skeleton warriors? He confirmed the request, throwing the cards forward. As soon as they hit the ground, they formed a powerful magic summoning circle. From the soil, a skeletal hand emerged. The 5 level 3 skeleton warriors were summoned, roaring into the afterlife. The wolves were not intimidated, and charged forward to use the bones as snacks. But confidently, Lin Yuan whispered, let's see who gets torn to pieces. First, the skeletons advanced, facing the horde in an overwhelming fashion. Their swords blocked the attacks and launched counterattacks. Shortly after, Lin Yuan joined the battle, wielding his blade alongside the skeleton warriors. 15 minutes later, all the wolves were on the ground. Lin Yuan pulled out his sword after defeating the 16th desert ghost wolf and obtained 16 wolf teeth as a reward. A power flowed into him and the skeletons. Souls seemed to leave the summoned creatures, flying towards Lin Yuan. Shocked, the cleric from the group of girls asked if she was dreaming. Xiaorui approached Lin Yuan, asking if he was a mage, for using summoning abilities, some of which she as a mage herself had never seen before. Lin Yuan faced the girl with his red eyes. Who said I'm a mage? Surprised, the young woman wanted to know what he was, but only received a smile in response. Lin Yuan possessed a forbidden SSS tier class, Necromancer. Hailing from the blue planet, he was a reincarnator. 3 years ago, scientists had observed a mysterious planet called the Magic Planet, which had suddenly appeared near the blue planet. 3 months ago, an enigmatic company announced a virtual reality game called Immortal World, shocking the world. Upon entering Immortal World, humans were categorized into different classes, and through the leveling system, they acquired abilities to fight. At first, no one paid much attention, since it just seemed like a game, until people started gaining power in the real world. These people were called the Chosen. From then on, a group of cultists, known as the Faithful of the Evil Star God, began to invade the real world from the virtual one, attacking players. Chaos took over the planet and, unfortunately, Lin Yuan's parents were victims of the tragedy. Humans from all over united to fight, but were defeated by the cultists. Lin Yuan was one of those who perished in the final battle. However, an hour ago, he was reincarnated at the moment of his first entry into Immortal World, obtaining an SSS tier class. With this new power, he swore he would become strong enough to protect the blue planet and his family. Bending down, the protagonist extended his hand over one of the fallen wolves. From its body, as well as from the others, shadows of energy rose. A notification appeared. Do you wish to use shadow summoning on the bodies of the desert ghost wolves? As soon as Lin Yuan confirmed, the wolves rose with a new power. This special class possessed the physical traits of a warrior and the ability to use shadow summoning, turning monster corpses into zombies. These zombified creatures not only inherited the abilities they had in life, but also acquired the new ability, Inactive Body, which granted them immunity to most negative effects. Extending his hand, Lin Yuan used another ability, Gate of the Underworld. The ground beneath the wolves split, as if gates were opening. This ability stored the reincarnated monsters, increasing both the number of minions in his possession and their level. When the true gate emerged, it opened for the wolves to enter. Lin Yuan was confident that with a high enough level, he could create an army of unstoppable zombies. Seeing the young man revive the wolves as zombies, the warrior hastily asked who he was. Ignoring the question, Lin Yuan realized that time had come. Time for the world boss, the giant wolf, to appear. A notification appeared for everyone, mainly showing Lin Yuan that it was time to face the boss. Lightning spread across the red sky, alerting all players. From the cracks opened by the lightning, the sky shattered and dark eyes appeared in the void. The players understood that the giant wolf was about to appear. Remembering that it had long-range attacks, the noobs fled in a hurry. As they ran in desperation, a shadow appeared, attacking them. A pair of players hid behind rocks. The immense black and red wolf had teeth as large as human arms and a gaze as deep as the most intense fire. One player was shocked to see his brother attacked by the wolf, but he was held back by his companions. Alone, he could do nothing. The hidden pair wondered if anyone would be able to defeat such a monster. Soon they saw someone advance. It was Lin Yuan. The protagonist carried the worn-out sword with a downcast look. Observing that blade, the hidden players concluded that he could only be a noob. Still, he was facing a Lord-tier monster, level 6. In Immortal World, monsters were categorized into different tiers: normal, elite, leader lord, king, monarch, and divinity. Among them, a Lord-tier monster, even at level 1, was already a deadly threat to noobs. Lin Yuan stood before the enormous wolf, which growled in his direction. From their hiding spot, someone shouted, "Are you crazy, run?" But the level 6 boss monster had already marked him as prey. Facing the great wolf, Lin Yuan came to a conclusion. "You're not as impressive as they say." The taunt made the wolf furious. With a roar, the monster launched a column of energy at Lin Yuan, but he vanished. The protagonist had jumped backward, dodging. The wolf charged next, revealing its claws. With a serious look, Lin Yuan remembered his past life. That creature possessed buffing abilities, but it only had 300-400 hit points and 510 attack points. For adventurers in this gravel desert, who were usually level 3, it would be almost impossible to defeat it without a team. Lin Yuan remembered how he had struggled against it in the past. However, after countless battles, he was now a different person. The wolf's claws came down on him, but they only struck the stone ground. Lin Yuan had moved to the side, revealing a speed that impressed the hidden players. The enraged wolf charged again. Lin Yuan smiled at the reaction and touched the ground, releasing an incredible amount of dark energy. The gate of the underworld rose from the earth, immense enough to scare even the gigantic wolf. When it opened, Lin Yuan allowed his army to emerge. Dozens of wolves appeared, advancing against the giant lord. The players were terrified by both the dark gate and the zombies that resembled desert ghost wolves. After defeating the previous enemies, Lin Yuan had reached level 3, which increased the capacity of the gate of the underworld to 30 units. Leveling up had been worth it. The game's mechanics made the summons as strong as the summoner himself. And when both were present, monsters prioritized attacking the minions, ignoring the master. The zombie wolves were thrown far away, but quickly recovered, facing the attacking lord again. Confident in its superior size, with the wolf's attention diverted, Lin Yuan advanced. Using the aggro mechanic, he was free to wield his sword against the monster's entire body. In a flurry of attacks, the giant wolf howled at the skies, overtaken by fury. Quickly, it managed to recover and charged at Lin Yuan. The high damage he dealt had pulled aggro back to him. But Lin Yuan sent his zombie wolves to harass the lord once more. He was confident that, just as ants could take down an elephant through sheer numbers, his minions could cause enough damage to defeat the monster. Soon the great wolf began to weaken. Watching the battle, everyone was impressed. However, some were already starting to get greedy. A few minutes later, when the boss had only 500 hit points left, Lin Yuan attacked personally. Leaping while pointing his sword downward, he dealt a critical hit, making the boss's health drop rapidly. The wolf's howl echoed throughout the desert as the massive amount of damage was inflicted. Strengthless, it fell to the ground. The boss was left with only 10 hit points. After Lin Yuan's attack, the protagonist faced it, ready to deliver the final blow. But at that moment, 3 malicious players charged at him. Lin Yuan noticed their presence, and while a hidden man shouted to warn him, he moved immediately. With a single swing of his sword, he sent the trio that tried to attack him flying. From behind, with his blade still dripping red, he defeated the 3, mocking them. As he approached, he said, "Don't overestimate yourselves." The players were shocked to see the 3 bandits eliminated in an instant. While Lin Yuan was wasting time with distractions, the giant wolf got up. But it had no time to run, because Lin Yuan swung his sword and launched an energy strike. The critical attack hit the boss monster, which took its last breaths. As a reward, Lin Yun received 480 experience points, as well as a gem. Still, he needed to check what other rewards the boss would grant him. Amidst a pillar of golden light, Lin Yun found the gem, as well as a chest. The soul gem could be exchanged at the Eternal Council for a legendary item, as long as a certain amount was collected. Lin Yun remembered that, at level 60, players traveled to the land of the elves to continue their evolution. But it was still too early to go there. Knowing that these gems were the easiest way to get legendary equipment, he also mentally reviewed the item hierarchy. White, black iron, bronze, silver, gold, dark, gold, epic, legendary, and mythic. Newbie players usually had white rank equipment and rarely black iron. 2 hours ago, Lin Yun had used his experience to manipulate 2 skeleton warriors, luring the elite rank sand lizard. Thus he obtained a bronze breastplate, as well as a black lizard robe, also bronze rank, and the title of Hunter in Immortal World. Different titles granted specific skills or effects. The Hunter title that Lin Yun had earned was excellent. It increased attack power by 10%, critical hit chance by 10%, and also spell damage. Being the first player to defeat the world boss, he obtained a silver rank chest, which he opened promptly. Inside, he found the silver rank silver moon sword, as well as a ring, a scroll, and some potions. With the experience points being tallied, Lin Yun's stats began to update. He reached level 4, receiving 5 points per level up. He distributed 3 to mind and 2 to strength. With that, he reached 10 points in strength and constitution, 25 in agility, and 35 in mind. Lin Yun was satisfied, as these stats were already the highest among the players in the Gravel Desert. Additionally, the Gate of the Underworld now held 40 units. Although all the zombie wolves had been sacrificed, his gains had been immense. Extending his hand over the giant wolf's body, the notification to use shadow summoning appeared. As soon as Lin Yun confirmed, the giant wolf rose, overtaken by a dark energy, even more sinister than before. He answered the call. Looking at the wolf's abilities, Lin Yun discovered that it possessed area of effect damage techniques, as well as crowd control. After becoming a zombie, it also obtained Fury of the Undead. He sent the wolf to the Gate of the Underworld, planning to use it in the future to expand his army. Everyone was terrified to see someone turn the boss into a zombie. In their eyes, Lin Yun was more frightening than the monsters themselves. At that moment, Lin Yun noticed something. People started to disappear from their hiding spots. They hid even further, so they wouldn't come into his line of sight. After the 3 bandits were eliminated, they ended up dropping some swords. They were good for low-level players, but Lin Yun had obtained better weapons. Picking up one of the swords, he walked to the rocks where the players were hiding. Frightened, the protagonist approached one in particular. "You're the one who shouted just now, weren't you?" The young man stammered, afraid to answer. Unexpectedly, Lin Yun gifted him the extra sword. As soon as he handed over the weapon, he said goodbye and left. Everyone gathered around the young man who received it, shocked, as it was worth tens of thousands. After walking for 10 minutes, Lin Yun felt something strange. A sense of weakening began to arise in the real world. He removed the helmet that connected him to the game. The device had shut down due to a low battery. Sighing, he reminded himself that he needed to earn money to buy the immersion capsule. Upon leaving the game, he looked at the start screen of Immortal World. This was a hyper-realistic holographic game, divided into multiple logins, based on continental areas. Furthermore, each login area contained different kingdoms for players to choose from. In the Elpad district, where Lin Yun lived, there were 4 countries: the ancestral country of the Western Desert, the Southern Empire, the Northern Hades Empire, and Tidal Island. It was possible to choose a birthplace, and upon starting over in this world, he made the same choice as in his past life, the ancestral continent of the Western Desert. He had done this because in his other life, they discovered a secret. In the final war, a spatial hole had appeared. Torn apart by the monsters, Lin Yun heard the cries for help from countless people. But it was at that moment that, from the hole, winged beings appeared. Among the winged beings, there was a hooded man. A yellow sapphire adorned a brooch on his clothes, the emblem of the Desert Kingdom's Guild. The first follower of the evil star god had been, in fact, a human player. Lin Yun knew that this follower was crucial for the descent of the evil sovereign, and that with only 3 years left, he needed to eliminate him to avoid repeating the tragedy. However, the only clue he had was the emblem. Only, the guilds of the Western Desert's main city used insignias with yellow sapphires, and the condition for entering the city was to reach level 10. To expose the enemy's true identity, he needed to hurry and raise his level. Thinking about this, Lin Yun made an attempt. Opening his hand, he summoned the Skeleton Warrior card. He had become one of the Chosen, just like the other players of Immortal World, who could bring their powers out of the game. The Chosen, also known as Children of Destiny, possessed a powerful secret class and extremely high luck. they would be the main fighting force in the confrontation against the evil sovereign that would occur in a few years. In real life, the abilities had only been obtained after the catastrophe of the Blue Star, but this time, it happened much earlier. The forbidden ability, necromancer, that Lin Yuan had received was not common, but it was still unknown how superior it was to other secret classes. Suddenly, the protagonist heard a noise from outside his room. It was already past lunchtime. He received a visit. His parents were surprised to see the various sophisticated dishes on the table. Serving the last of the dishes, Lin Yuan told them to help themselves. His mother told her husband to eat quickly, admiring her son's gesture. Lin Yuan had learned that one of the human characteristics was to realize the value of something only after almost losing it. In his past life, he lived in ignorance, wasting his days uselessly. His parents argued constantly due to his gaming addiction. But when the disaster happened, he painfully discovered how foolish he had been. Since it was Sunday, Lin Yuan asked if little Tantan wouldn't be home for lunch. Happily, his mother revealed that Tantan was preparing for exams and ate while studying at school. Remembering something, his mother asked him to take food to his sister when he had time. She enjoyed the meal, surprised that he knew how to cook. Seeing how much she ate, the father let her have all the chicken wings. At that moment, Lin Yuan served his father, stating that in the future, he would learn to cook other dishes. Surprised, they paused for a moment, and emotionally, they nodded. During the day, Lin Yuan spent his time running through the city and exercising to better control the power the game brought to reality. He needed to have a strong physical constitution, enough to withstand it. After a sweaty run in the park, Lin Yuan checked his performance. 50 meters in 5.5 seconds. Not bad, but still far from the goal he aimed for. After all the training, it was time to go back. A mist appeared at the moment of login, and Lin Yuan appeared in the gravel desert. Several flying creatures crossed the sky, casting shadows of their wings on the sand. Lin Yuan was being pursued as he advanced. He soon looked up and discovered that monsters were watching him. Several birds, red creatures, dove towards him, planning to devour him. They were the Howling Birds, level 2 monsters. With precise sword cuts, the protagonist turned them into fried chicken. For defeating the Howling Birds, Lin Yuan obtained 15 experience points. The amount wasn't impressive, but it was enough to keep him moving. He pressed forward, turning the birds into zombies. Shortly after, Lin Yuan soon found dozens of wolves gathered in a pack. The birds had attracted the wolves, showing they were their favorite prey. The protagonist used a potion to help him face the horde. With the monster essence, he increased all his stats by 10 points. The enhanced speed allowed him to charge against the ghost wolves. The hungry pack ran towards him, opening mouths full of sharp teeth. Using the wolves as a warm-up, Lin Yuan brandished his sword like a dance, eliminating 4 of them at once. 2 wolves jumped on him, but shadow summoning cuts destroyed them instantly. Lin Yuan was soon surrounded by the wolves, who wouldn't give up. Dozens of monsters surrounded him, making it impossible to escape. However, he was already prepared for their advance. As soon as they attacked, he delivered powerful blows, eliminating several monsters with each sword thrust. The kill count rose quickly, surpassing 20 wolves, and easily reaching 30 thanks to his skill with the sword and the stats he had leveled up. When he reached 40 kills, Lin Yuan reached level 5. The gate to the underworld was opened once again, and the zombie wolves were directed towards him. After 2 intense battles, he had formed his army of monsters again. With the 4 main attributes, boosted by the monster essence, Lin Yuan's combat power was sufficient to face elite monsters of the same level. This marked the beginning of his plan to go to the city to find a certain person. The protagonist entered a house with cracks in the walls. There was a drunkard, Kansi, the instructor for mages in Black Sand City. Lin Yuan was there to learn skills. In the game Immortal World, skills were normally acquired from books dropped by monsters or from treasure chests. In addition, each profession had its own novice instructor, responsible for teaching skills. Kansi was the novice mage instructor. Realizing the intentions of the young man, Kansi celebrated, as he would earn money for drinks for the rest of the month. Despite having been a mage in his past life, Lin Yuan had little information about the necromancer class, but he believed that it considered magic as the attribute for skills. Before moving on to specialized skills, he intended to learn the basic mage skills. I want to learn the skill Spiritual Flame, the art of healing, and also the art of concealment. The protagonist tossed a bag of coins to Kansi, exactly what the instructor wanted. Upon seeing the numerous silver coins, Kansi was satisfied. Extending his hand, the drunkard created a sphere of energy. Do your best, young man, for the glory of mages, which will shine upon you with splendor. Lin Yuan learned the 3 desired skills. Spiritual Flame, which caused damage to the target. Art of Healing, which restored 10% of his health. Art of Concealment, which made the user camouflaged for 5 seconds. The protagonist already had a lot of knowledge about how the skills could be used, but since they were too simple, He hoped to evolve them, something that required resources. Lin Yuan set a plan: go back to hunting and level up. To the east of Black Sand City was Black Sand Mountain, accessible only by a narrow stone path. Upon reaching the end of the path, Lin Yuan was congratulated for discovering the kobold mine. Kobolds were level 5 monsters that lived near the caves. They had a keen sense of smell, could hunt in the dark, and carried out ambushes. Even more dangerous, the number of kobolds in each group reached into the hundreds. In terms of numbers and level, kobolds were completely superior to common monsters, making them a powerful source for the kobold army. Lin Yuan used a night vision potion with a 30-minute duration. He intended to use the kobolds to maximize his skill proficiency, as well as open some treasure chests. As soon as his army of ghost wolves appeared, Lin Yuan raised a torch. Advance and clear the way ahead. The wolves quickly entered the dark cave. The protagonist and his wolves walked through the cave for 15 minutes. After a long time, Lin Yuan found something. A chamber in the cave showed traces of civilization, as well as movements in the darkness. The protagonist threw the torch forward, illuminating the space. The torch fell into another chamber, after a flight of stairs, revealing kobolds with red eyes. The monsters charged against the undead army. The undead wolves also advanced on Lin Yuan's horde. Eliminate them all. Leave no one alive. The protagonist charged alongside the wolves, facing the kobolds. The werewolf-like monsters carried pickaxes or attacked with their claws, but the undead wolves that Lin Yuan controlled showed the strength they possessed. And thanks to the support of Lin Yuan himself, they dominated the battle. The kobolds relied on their skills, smash to cause powerful damage. However, the sharp sword of Lin Yuan could eliminate them with a single blow. The combat power of each kobold was not great. Therefore, the only thing that really mattered in the battle was dodging the pickaxe. Several kobolds teamed up, leaping towards Lin Yuan. At that moment, he used the art of concealment. The pickaxes hit the ground, as Lin Yuan had disappeared, appearing behind one of the kobolds. He taunted, "You idiot! I'm here." The protagonist used his sword to attack the kobolds, as if he were carving a roast. Soon, a total of 20 kobolds had already been eliminated. Having won the first part of the battle, Lin Yuan retreated. The art of concealment ended, as it only lasted 5 seconds, but it was enough to increase by 5 points the 100 baixie needed to evolve the skill. However, since the kobold's attributes were very low, the skill's evolution became extremely slow. Lin Yuan didn't stand still, and used his necromancy skill on the kobolds, who rose in the shadows. Raising his sword, he commanded, "From now on, you will replace the ghost wolves. Undead, find the leader of this place." Lin Yuan followed 3 kobolds through a tunnel. He reached a large room where there were several paths that spread across the walls and ceiling. Before entering the tunnels, the protagonist noticed something on a wall full of marks. Releasing energy with his finger, he smiled. "Found you." The energy was launched at a target, hitting several stone-colored slime balls. At the same instant, dark eyes fixed on Lin Yuan in the shadows. Although he was surrounded by his zombie kobolds, a giant kobold with a spiked club jumped to attack him. The kobold foreman, a level 6 elite monster, showed no mercy in its attack. Since ancient times, the weak have been preyed upon by the strong. This was the immutable law of survival in the natural world. The predator, however, was always fated to become prey at some point. Absolute danger lurked at every moment, showing the power of a predator. The kobold foreman smashed the ground with its attack, raising a curtain of dust. Something that could always happen. Was the hunter pretending to be helpless prey, just waiting for the counterattack? Lin Yuan had grabbed the club that the kobold foreman used to attack him. He held it tightly, and used it against the kobold itself, spinning it and pulling it violently. The kobold foreman didn't let go of the weapon, and ended up being thrown to the ground, shattering the large rock it fell upon. Still, it got up furiously. But at that instant, a shadow passed by it. Before it could realize, it had already been hit by the attack of Lin Yuan. The blows rained down on the monster, forcing it to its knees. Powerless, the foreman could no longer get up. With both shadows and numbers, other kobolds appeared. Lin Yuan could see more than 50 gathered, including other foremen among them. However, the numbers under Lin Yuan's command were balanced, which made the fight possible. Opening the gate to the underworld, he summoned the wolves to battle. The hunt officially began. The wolves snarled fiercely, advancing against the kobolds, who carried their miners' pickaxes. A fierce battle began. The pickaxes tore into the wolves, who retaliated with sharp fangs in their bites. Soon a giant wolf appeared and used the skill, Dark Howl, stunning the kobolds around it. Those hit by the howl's range were not only stunned, but also suffered severe injuries. The giant wolf's attack changed the tide of the battle. Lin Yuan raised his sword and shouted, "Eliminate them all." One by one, the kobolds were defeated, 40 in total, until Lin Yuan reached level 6. The many souls of the monsters floated towards him, and he collected them to use his necromancer skills and raise the defeated foreman. While Lin Yuan strengthened his troops, the surviving kobolds tried to retreat, but Lin Yuan would not let them escape, letting his sword speak for him. He ran among the enemies, striking each of the remaining ones. At that moment, however, he was surprised by a powerful club that came down towards him. He quickly retreated, dodging the decisive blow from the kobold chieftain. The monster, a level 7 tier boss, armed with a stone hammer, roared at the protagonist. But Lin Yuan had been waiting for him all this time, prepared to face him. The kobold chieftain's hammer shattered a wall upon hitting it. The weapon got stuck in the rocks after the impact, and even trying to pull it, the monster couldn't free it. Lin Yuan saw that as an opportunity and attacked. The sword blow fell upon the kobold chieftain, partially hitting the hammer recovered just in time, and the rest directly on the enemy's body. However, due to the boss's high defense, Lin Yuan couldn't penetrate it. Roaring, the kobold chieftain once again swung its hammer, destroying another wall. The protagonist was surprised by the monster's speed. It attacked again with a hammer blow from above. Enraged, the kobold delivered a blow so powerful that it shattered the floor, throwing Lin Yuan far away. The protagonist recovered quickly. The big boss's attacks didn't follow a simple pattern, not even compared to other monsters of the same level. Based on the strength it demonstrated, it was at least 3 times more powerful than the elite monsters. Lin Yuan devised a plan, maintain distance between them, and at the same time, ensure the boss continued to take damage. To do this, he raised his various zombies surrounding the enemy. Each of the summoned monsters used their skills, attacking the kobold chieftain, who counterattacked with a devastating blow, a spin that created a whirlwind capable of causing double damage. As soon as his undead escaped the spinning attack, Lin Yuan once again commanded, "Advance." The wolves jumped on the kobold, sinking their teeth into its flesh. The giant wolf roared fiercely, activating the group skill, Wrath of the Undead. The power and critical hit chance of all monsters in the area increased considerably. With the bonus, the wolves leaped against the kobold chieftain once more, as if lightning bolts were falling on it, due to the energy that dominated the undead creatures. The monster howled helplessly. The battle intensified more and more. Lin Yuan still had a weapon up his sleeve. Magic. Spiritual flame. A flood of flames fell upon the kobold chieftain. It was practically immobilized by the wolves surrounding it. Since the kobold's magic defense was extremely low, the flames completely engulfed the boss's body, causing additional damage. Howling in pain, the monster managed to free itself from the flames, despite its injuries. It charged once more against Lin Yuan, the true threat. But as it approached, Lin Yuan activated the art of concealment, moving behind the enemy. Without showing mercy, his eyes fixed on the exposed nape of its neck. Pointing the sword downwards, Lin Yuan plunged it like a knife through butter. The kobold chieftain roared in agony, spun its body, and with a hammer blow, launched the protagonist far away. Even so, Lin Yuan, sword in hand, rose to challenge the boss monster again. At that instant, one of his zombie wolves launched itself in his direction, mounting the giant wolf. He took the lead of the attack, guiding his beasts against the enemy. The kobold chieftain, however, once again showed its immense power, swinging its hammer and spreading destruction. But its armor was already starting to be damaged by the wolves that sank their fangs and claws into it. Lin Yuan took advantage of the opening and conjured numerous celestial fires, making it rain down on the kobold chieftain. Once again, scorched by the flames, the boss monster roared in pain and suffering. Several common kobolds suddenly appeared to help their leader. In Lin Yuan's eyes, that was nothing more than a last desperate attack. Against the new enemies, Lin Yuan eliminated a dozen foremen, as well as more than 30 minor kobolds. The kobold chieftain was left aside by the wolves, which had to face the common monsters, and it took the opportunity to try to escape. However, Lin Yuan got in its way. Trying to escape, then leave your life to me. Advancing one last time, he struck the kobold chieftain like a king, losing his crown. The monster lost what it had above its shoulders. The body fell to the ground after being eliminated, granting 50 experience points to Lin Yuan. The protagonist received the points, reaching level 7. Wen was satisfied, as he was one step closer to level 10 when he could proceed to the main city of the Western Desert. Thanks to the long battle, he managed to evolve the spiritual flame and art of concealment skills. Lin Yuan's attention was drawn by what appeared. Next, a bronze chest appeared over the kobold chieftain's body. Without hesitating, he opened it, obtaining several items and 20 gold coins. Soon, the main world bank would open for exchanges between reality and the immortal world. 20 gold coins would be equivalent to 200,000 yuan. Not bad for the start of his journey. Besides the gold, he obtained the unextinguishable torch, which provided night vision in a 3-meter radius, and the skull mask, an armor-type item that reduced physical damage received by 5%. Finally, Lin Yuan was impressed by a gauntlet, the Shadow Gauntlet, a silver rank item that granted 30 points of attack and defense. Lin Yuan's luck proved to be incredible, leaving him extremely hyped to test the new equipment. Near the Kobold Cave, there was a small forest where dozens of wolves had been defeated. Ahead of them was the leader of the Bloodscar Guild, Wang Feilong, the Flying Yellow Dragon, a level 8 warrior. At his side, the vice leader Wang Feihu, the Flying Yellow Tiger, a level 5 thief, celebrated the training they did, treating themselves as invincible. The guild members were impressed with the duo, who had eliminated countless ghost wolves. Many were eager to meet the Thunder Guild again and face them once more. Wang Feihu snorted, cursing Lin Yuan for suddenly appearing and getting the kill on the first world boss. They still remembered the previous day, when Lin Yuan single-handedly defeated the giant, Ghost Wolf. Feihu swore that when he met him again, he would unleash all his fury on him. As for Wang Feilong, he warned Feihu not to act recklessly. Lin Yuan is a tyrant, and his strength should not be underestimated. So instead of antagonizing him, it's better to make him fight on our side. Knowing that the Kobold dungeon was nearby, Wang Feilong decided to inspect it, ordering the group to rest while they recovered their energy. Reprimanded by his older brother for the third time, Wang Feihu cursed internally and swore to the heavens, "Lin Yuan, just you wait. The day I find you, I will eliminate you, so my brother can see who is truly powerful." A bald monk suddenly caught Feihu's attention. Vice leader. "Don't get angry because of that loser. Look over here." Curious, Feihu followed the direction his subordinate pointed. Amidst the trees, a mage walked cheerfully. Wang Feihu and his subordinates cast lecherous gazes upon the young woman. The protagonist left the Kobold dungeon through another entrance. He had managed to add the Kobold chieftain to his collection, in addition to increasing the number of undead in the underworld to 70. As he planned to advance further in his plans, he heard a girl's scream, "Don't come any closer." He noticed a mage, scared and wounded, retreating in front of a group of people. Climbing a small hill, she was surrounded. Wang Feihu smiled maliciously, with his companions trying to trick her. "Don't worry. You'll have fun with us instead of suffering." However, the mage continued to swing her staff. "If you come any closer, I'll attack." But before she could do such a thing, Wang Feihu appeared before her, kicking her staff away. He managed to throw her to the ground and hold her by the hair. "If you're not going to give up, I want to see how you'll react." He smiled like a madman, taking advantage of the mage's desperation to have fun. Like a maniac, he pulled at her clothes. But at the same instant, his cheek was deformed by a punch that carried a large amount of energy. The owner of that fist wore a gauntlet that sent Wang Feihu flying. Seeing the blow that struck the vice-captain of the Bloodscar Guild, the group of subordinates was dumbfounded. Feihu dragged himself along the ground until he hit a large rock, raising a cloud of dust. Powerless, he was pinned against the rock. Having tested the new gauntlet, Lin Yuan commented to himself, "The effect isn't too bad. Easier to use than I imagined." One of the subordinates tried to escape quickly, to get the guild leader. At the same time, two others shouted, "Who are you? If you anger the Bloodscar Guild, your fate will be sealed." The protagonist ignored the threats and faced them. He focused on the guild's crest, which featured an axe and two crossed swords. He remembered this guild, where most of the players had a red name for committing evil deeds. Players with red names had been classified by the system for having more than 6 sin points due to criminal acts, deliberate attacks, thefts, or things of that sort. Although the governor of evil had not yet invaded the world, and attacks on players had not yet reached the real world, losing equipment and levels tremendously affected the players. Taking things into account, Lin Yuan asked a simple question. "Are you all from the Bloodscar Guild?" The group was surprised, but a bald man boasted, "That's right. We are a renowned guild in Black Sand City. You've angered our vice-captain. Has fear filled your heart now?" Maliciously, the bald man ordered him to crawl and call him Grandpa, repeatedly to receive forgiveness. Seeing that there was no reason to talk, Lin Yuan simply attacked the pair in front of him. In a single blow, like pieces of a disassembled doll, arms flew. The limbless group fell to the ground, being forced to kneel. The mage who had been saved by Lin Yuan was shocked by his strength. In a corner of the wall, Wang Feihu, he stood up still trembling after using a potion that restored 20% of his health points and magic points. He gritted, his teeth and rose with fury taking over, overflowing with a malevolent energy. "Damn you! Your destiny is damnation." At that moment, a voice emerged. "Let's see, who dares to mess with a dragon and a tiger?" The protagonist looked back, drawn by the voice. The guild member who had fled pointed up. It was him. He attacked the vice leader. Angered, Wang Feilong grabbed his axe while shouting, "Who?" But he stopped suddenly. He was staring into dark, cold, and indifferent eyes. They possessed an overwhelming presence. In the unknown man's hand was a sharp, glistening ice sword, capable of cutting through anything. The aura that emanated from him made those around him unknowingly suffocate. Ignoring these things, the Scar Guild member shouted, "Master, hurry up and show this brat our power." The subordinate cursed at Lin Yuan, but Wang Feilong couldn't move, knowing that sword looked like one obtained from defeating a boss-level monster. He was 90% sure that he was facing the person named Lin Yuan. With a grim look, he knew he couldn't avoid this battle. At that same instant, someone leaped from behind Lin Yuan. The mage looked up, shouting, "Watch your back." Ruan Feiru leaped, carrying 2 swords, while cursing, "Perish, you bastard!" At the same moment, Wang Feilong brandished his axe. "Young man, you made a stupid decision facing us." Lin Yuan was being attacked from the front and back, but his attackers were surprised. An energy emerged, like a kobold boss, carrying a hammer. The kobold grinned mischievously and swung its tool. It struck Ruan Feiru head-on, sending him flying. With a single attack, Lin Yuan turned to Wang Feilong. "You're next." Feilong was dumbfounded by his words. Before he could realize it, Lin Yuan's attack had already hit him, carrying an oppressive energy. In a single blow, the protagonist struck down the guild leader and mocked. This guild doesn't even have what it takes to be taken seriously. A notification appeared for Lin Yuan. For eliminating a human player, his sin value had increased by 2 points. But he expected these 2 points to disappear, as long as he didn't accumulate any more. Within a week, seeing other members of the Scar Guild flee, the mage hurriedly asked if they should pursue them. However, Lin Yuan had no desire to chase after insects. He checked the bodies of those he had defeated. From Wang Feilong, he got a silver-rank explosive battle axe, as well as the dragon's twin blades that Ruan Feiru possessed, along with a bronze-rank thorn dagger. Despite having no use for the items, Lin Yuan thought about selling them. At that moment, the mage who had been attacked approached with puppy dog eyes. "Great lord, thank you for saving me, but I don't even know your name yet." The protagonist turned and declared, "One day, you'll find my name on the top 10 list of the world." The declaration left the young mage surprised, but stomping her feet, she complained, "Who cares about such a trivial list? Sir, take me with you." Lin Yuan had arrived at the Desert of Laments, where there was nothing but sand. A monster emerged from beneath the ground. Thunder scorpions leaped from the sand, attacking Lin Yuan. The protagonist reacted in time, preparing for battle. The scorpion's stingers shot towards him, but spinning his sword, the protagonist cut them down, with no room for error, eliminating each one. Overflowing with an overwhelming energy, the protagonist created a whirlwind by spinning his sword. After hunting for some time, he managed to eliminate 60 scorpions, reaching level 8. Despite reaching level 8, gathering paralyzing herbs would be quite annoying, but it was still an unexpected gain. 2 days earlier, Lin Yuan had gone to a dungeon, where he found an old man in a hat. The old man with the braided beard extended his hand to the hero. "We finally meet." The protagonist received a quest from the alchemist Imor. The quest was called Imor's Will, and it asked him to go to the Desert of Laments to gather 100 paralysis herbs and deliver them to the alchemist. After a period of time, Lin Yuan knew that a special dungeon would open in the main city. Its monsters would have electrical properties, and to defeat it successfully, it was necessary to have high resistance. For this reason, the demand for electric resistance potions would skyrocket, and their true value would reach hundreds of gold coins. In Lin Yuan's past life, someone made a fortune because of this, completing the paralysis herb quest would give him the recipe for the resistance potion, which is why it was so important. Imor had arrived for the first time in Black Sand City. After this quest was taken by someone, he would disappear forever. That's why this was the only chance to get it. The protagonist promptly accepted the quest and went to the desert, where he hunted the scorpions. They were level 6 electric-type monsters, the guardians of the paralysis herb, but for Lin Yuan they posed no threat. He planned to complete the quest and use the opportunity to increase his skill proficiency. During the hunt, approaching the leafless herbs, he used the gathering skill. The skill, already at level 2, had a 5% bonus to increase the quality of the herbs obtained. After clearing the area, he went deeper into the desert. After walking a bit further, Lin Yuan stopped suddenly. He felt something in the ground, and in the next instant, a stinger attacked him. The protagonist quickly retreated, escaping the surprise attack. After the forced retreat, Lin Yuan frowned at the monster he was about to face. He had found the dark mutant monster, the Crystal Lightning Scorpion. Finding such a creature, which had a crystal instead of a stinger, in that location, surprised Lin Yuan. Despite the difficulty of facing a level 10 monster, he smiled excitedly, ready to sharpen his sword on the scorpion's crystal shell. A powerful sword strike that created an energy tornado traveled towards the scorpion. Lin Yuan's sword, however, couldn't pierce its carapace. The scorpion's armor had no vulnerable points. The boss monster wouldn't let the human go unpunished. Lightning bolts appeared from all directions as the paralyzing thunder strike was activated. Lin Yuan tried to stick his sword into the scorpion to avoid being thrown away. In the next instant, the big boss activated the poisonous spines attack, aiming the tip of its stinger at Lin Yuan. The protagonist managed to jump, making the scorpion hit itself, retreating while brandishing his sword. Lin Yuan made the enemy even more furious. The crystal scorpion's strength was beyond his expectations. Lin Yuan needed to understand its true combat power. With claws full of electricity, the scorpion crawled towards the protagonist. Dark power surged within Lin Yuan, who opened the gate to the underworld, allowing kobolds and wolves to rise before the enemy. The kobold boss used its hammer to strike the crystal scorpion, halting its advance. However, Lin Yuan didn't see the double damage power activate on the attack. The scorpion let out a hiss of hatred and raised its claws, slamming them on the ground to throw the kobolds and wolves away. The spirit fire traveled towards the monster, managing to hit it as it was distracted. The scorpion felt the taste of the flames, which had evolved. Small amounts of damage were continuously dealt. Due to its large size, it couldn't dodge the spirit flames. Lin Yuan continued to attack, giving the enemy no openings. As the battle continued, several ropes were thrown at the scorpion to tie it up. The kobolds tried to pull it to knock it down. With the scorpion immobilized, the kobold boss had a clear path to assault it with its hammer. The double damage was activated, and a critical hit landed, breaking the monster's carapace. In a fury, the scorpion managed to break the ropes and free itself. It looked for the human, but couldn't find him, as Lin Yuan had leaped high into the air. With the opening in the scorpion's shell, Lin Yuan used the effect of the Hunter title to increase his attack and magic damage. "I'll break your entire body and turn you into a pile of shells." Lin Yuan's punch hit the crack, causing a strong impact that pushed the scorpion's entire body down. The creature roared one last time, due to the massive amount of damage, but fell to the ground, defeated by Lin Yuan, and providing 560 experience points. The protagonist soon extracted the crystal scorpion as a zombie. The monster, level 10 with paralyzing attacks, would not be left behind. Crawling sounds emerged from all over the desert. The protagonist saw in the distance several scorpions approaching, forming a horde in an instant. Lin Yuan and his new monster had been surrounded. However, he loved the opportunity. "You've arrived just in time." Under Lin Yuan's command, the crystal scorpion used thunderstorm to attack. A shower of lightning occurred, hitting all the smaller monsters in the desert and making them suffer. Lin Yuan didn't stand still, putting his sword into action. With one attack after another, he hit the weak points of each scorpion, moving on to the next enemy after eliminating the previous one. His blows pierced the monster's carapaces, hitting their insides and causing even more damage. In just a few hours of hunting, Lin Yuan repeatedly leveled up, obtaining the achievement of reaching level 10. He looked at his character information, confirming his arrival at level 10. The feeling of going up 2 levels in the same day wasn't bad. Thanks to the long hunt, he obtained a silver rank weapon, the lightning spear, as well as the guardian's boots, the ring of paralysis, and the ghost guard weapon. He intended to sell some of these items to provide a better life for his parents. The protagonist walked among the slain scorpions. Having eliminated the beasts with dark powers in that area, he was congratulated and received a gold rank book. A glow appeared in Lin Yuan's hands as the brown book with a red eye materialized. The skill in the book was called Curse of Darkness, a technique exclusive to necromancers. The protagonist celebrated his good fortune, registering the skill in his memories. A pillar of light fell upon Lin Yuan, granting him the exclusive skill, the Curse of Darkness. A dark mist of skeletons caused 20% of the target's health as damage, or if used on an undead ally, it recovered 20% of their health points. Looking at the power in his hands, the protagonist analyzed the skill. He looked around and found that his crystal scorpion had only 60% of its total health. He used the magic on the scorpion to test it. The power of the crown fell upon the scorpion, which felt the energy overflow in its body, having its health points restored to 80%. Finishing his warm-up, Lin Yuan saw that it was time to go to the main city in search of his first subordinate. Before he left, however, he felt the shadows embrace him. This feeling was the same sensation as when someone from the real world tried to interact with him. Taking off the helmet, Lin Yuan was met by his worried mother, who said, "Yuan, your father hurt his back. Come help." Lin Yuan ran to the living room, placing his father's arm around his neck to help him lie down on the sofa. Lin Yuan's mother was very distressed with her husband. "At this age, why are you being so careless? Wouldn't it be better to call a technician to fix the air conditioner?" Lin Yuan's father lay on his stomach, sighing. "We need to save what we can. Last week, when the washing machine broke, I didn't fix it." Seeing his father treat the injury as something unimportant, in the face of the need to save money, the protagonist understood the worrying situation happening in his own home. The next day, the morning started earlier than usual. Lin Yuan's parents woke up to a noise in the kitchen. Still tired, they got up to see what Yuan was doing. They were surprised when they saw the house shining and 2 men installing a new television on the wall. Lin Yuan's father was startled when one of the men grabbed his hand suddenly. "Are you Mr. and Mrs. Lin? These are the items that Lin Yuan bought. We brought them and installed them as quickly as we could." Seeing the movers installing several new items, Lin Yuan's mother felt like she was dreaming. At the same time, Lin Yuan was working out at the gym, strengthening his muscles and catching the attention of the girls. Someone suddenly interrupted him. A gym employee approached, asking if he would like to buy the package VIP for annual access, with a discount. The protagonist liked the idea and passed her his credit card. After selling the equipment he didn't need, he renovated the house and bought gym equipment. He intended to have his sister Xiao Tang, as well as his parents, exercise to adapt more quickly. When they entered the immortal world, the gym employee was impressed, because after exercising so much, Lin Yuan didn't even seem tired. She suddenly noticed something. The card she had received was a premium VIP card that only those with more than 5 million in their accounts could obtain. The protagonist was talking to his family on the phone, stating that he had made the purchases, thanks to a video game competition he won, asking his and Xiaotong's parents to rest and leave everything to him. With a blushing look, the employee could only glimpse how incredible Lin Yuan seemed. At Chuchui First High School, several young people were walking in the luxurious courtyard, where even fountains could be seen. A girl with blonde hair and a blue bow, matching her uniform, was waiting for someone. She was none other than Linton. Behind her, two girls were talking. One invited her friend to visit her, because for her birthday, her brother was going to buy her favorite strawberry cake. The friend was very envious that she had such a good brother. For Linton, however, having a brother was not something to be envious of. She detested her own game-addicted brother. Annoyed, she was about to leave when someone interrupted her. "Even though you're a beauty, you're very arrogant." 4 delinquents wanted to ask her out, going to her personally to force her to accept. Frowning, Linton questioned what they wanted. The 2 girls from earlier approached her, asking the same question. One of the delinquents tried to get close to Linton with a malicious smile. "Look at that soft skin. Let me touch it." Annoyed, Linton slapped his hand away. "Don't touch me." Linton gave them an ultimatum, saying that if they persisted, she would call the police. Furious, the man Linton pushed away attacked her. Pushed, Linton fell to the ground. Fury seemed to have taken over the delinquent, who attacked her with all his strength. Scared, Linton closed her eyes, putting her hands in front of her body to protect herself. At the last second, someone hurriedly grabbed the fist of the man who tried to attack her. Linton opened her eyes, realizing nothing had hit her. With a sinister look, a young man questioned, "Who allowed you to attack my sister?" Linton was surprised to see Lin Yuan. Not giving in to fear, the delinquent shouted, "Where did this mutt come from?" In an instant, he rushed at Lin Yuan, as did his 3 companions. However, before Lin Yuan was hit, he dodged an attack and hit the guy he was holding by the wrist. He followed with an uppercut. On another, launched a spinning kick at the 4th, and finally, stepped on the face of the one who tried to attack his sister, pushing him into the ground. A crowd gathered around Lin Yuan, who was walking over the delinquents. Linton and her friends were in shock. The protagonist looked at them, showing that everything was okay. Following her brother, Linton asked why he had come to her school. She didn't understand why her game-addicted brother had come to pick her up. To her surprise, he revealed that their father had a backache. She hurriedly asked, "A backache, is it serious?" However, he reassured her. After the quick response, there was a silence between the two. Linton hadn't spoken with Lin Yuan in a long time, so there was an awkward atmosphere between them. However, he didn't seem to care and walked with indifference. Suddenly, Linton's 2 friends ran up to her. Class president. They gathered around Linton, asking if the young man was really her brother, since he didn't look like a lazy person. One of them seemed very excited. "I didn't know that Mr. Lin Yuan was so skilled and handsome. Why have you never mentioned him before?" Her friend calling her brother handsome left Linton confused. Several other girls walking through the schoolyard ended up having the same opinion as Linton's friends. Unexpectedly, he had become quite popular. While Linton was wondering, since when her brother was so tall, a girl approached Lin Yuan. In Linton's mind, various confusions arose about her brother's body. She always saw him as a skinny guy consumed by video games, a slacker who isolated himself. Now she could feel a great change coming from him. After some conversation, Linton's friend said goodbye. Confused, Linton looked at her brother. He had crouched down for her to get on his back, which caught the attention of several girls. Crying, annoyed, she wondered what her brother was doing, wanting to carry her in front of so many people. However, Linton was pulled by him. Before she realized it, he had put her on his back, even against her will. Worried, Linton looked around, but Lin Yuan reassured her, confirming that her classmates had already left. He knew his sister had hurt her ankle when she was pushed, which is why he wanted to help her. Linton could understand what was going through her brother's head and was surprised that he had noticed the injury. Lin Yuan's parents were surprised when they saw their son come home, carrying his sister on his back. They were so amazed that they exchanged silent glances. In the end, they stood up, relieved that they had returned later. While Lin Yuan was washing the dishes, his mother asked Tantan if she didn't think her brother had changed completely. Their father agreed, remembering how he cooked and bought things for the house. The mother also reminded her daughter of how the relationship between the two had returned to what it was like when they were children. Feeling a strangeness in Lin Yuan, Linton did not dismiss the assumption that he might have changed. Soon Lin Yuan finished washing the dishes and, taking off his apron, announced that he was going back to his room. Linton watched her brother go back to his room and cursed internally. What was I expecting? He's still an unemployed, game-addicted loser. However, suddenly, Lin Yuan returned, handing her a small jar. He asked her to apply the cream after her shower, as it had an excellent therapeutic effect. Finally, Lin Yuan returned to his room, asking not to be interrupted unless it was something important. Linton held the jar of cream in her hands, nodding as she changed her mind. He's right. Nobody likes it when people enter their rooms. She ended up smiling without even realizing it. This made her mother comment, "See, I told you your relationship has improved." Curious, their mother asked what had happened at school. Not wanting to answer, Linton stated that she was going to take a shower. Inside the room, the protagonist heard the conversation between the two. He sat in his chair, believing that the domestic problems were now resolved. Finally, putting on the helmet, he was ready to return to the game. The protagonist spawned in the main district, the Sands of Wind. Smiling, he declared, "Let's find that rat." Entering the Sands of Wind, he headed towards the grate of the palace. In front of the palace, a man had been knocked down by a guard and tried to defend himself. "Honorable officer, I swear on my life this is a misunderstanding. However, the guard was determined to throw him in jail. Suddenly, the guard spotted an outsider, but what he saw vanished, making him wonder if it had been an illusion. Lin Yuan hid behind a wall, while the guard took the prisoner away. The patrol soldier's senses were sharp. Lin Yuan still needed to lay low for 3 days for his sin level to return to 0. Still, he had to take this opportunity to find an old friend on the streets of the main city. The protagonist went to the church, which looked more like a palace. In the church, Father Lawrence was giving his sermon and performing a baptism. Lin Yuan announced his arrival as he entered. "I've come from the charity house for the poor." Lawrence stared at the hooded man, who continued, "I heard there's a patient in critical condition. I came to treat him." Lawrence led the protagonist into the church's quarters of the church and revealed the situation of Knight Doug, lying in bed, with a green mark on his chest that spread through his veins. He was one of the strongest lion-scorpion knights. In Lin Yuan's past life, when he reached level 15, he had barely managed to get a gold-rank weapon from Doug. This time, he came to treat the poisons in the knight's body. Doug weakly opened his eyes and sized up Lin Yuan, surprised. "Just a level 10 mage. Even the patrol soldiers are at a higher level than you." However, as soon as Doug tried to get up, he violently vomited a dark goo. The poison was already eating away at his insides, showing the urgency of the treatment. Lin Yuan warned, "You won't live for more than a month." The soldier stated that to treat the poison, 1,000 grams of rotten warfish fat were needed, which could only be found in the dangerous muddy clay desert. Muddy. A quest was formed for Lin Yuan to collect the item capable of saving Doug. The protagonist obviously accepted. He headed to the indicated location, a place resembling a sand swamp, where serpents and catfish swam. A rotten warfish, with sharp teeth, leapt from the muddy water, targeting 2 players. Several others, however, rushed forward to defend them. Swinging its tail, the fish launched a ranged attack against the humans. A knight in a red cape managed to dodge, but her companions weren't so lucky. When the players fell into the mud, they were surrounded by the warfish. Using their tail jump, the catfish attacked. In addition to opening their mouths so wide, they could swallow the humans whole. The knight, seeing what was happening to her companions, gritted her teeth. But in front of her, the fish had already opened its mouth to swallow her. She knew these were her final moments. But suddenly, a silhouette appeared beside her. Grabbing the back of her shirt, Lin Yuan pulled her, throwing her aside. He complained, "Don't get in my way." Spiritual flames erupted around Lin Yuan, which he intensified for an attack. Amid the flames, the fish had no way to dodge, and only glimpsed the bright flames. A huge explosion occurred, swallowing the fish in one go. Still holding the knight, Lin Yuan landed on the ground. Having survived, the knight was still in shock. She tried to speak to the person who saved her, but he disappeared, leaving only the shadow of the hero who appeared at the last moment. Using the spiritual flames, Lin Yuan continued to attack. As he advanced, he rained fire down on the muddy swamp, where several warfish were swimming. In a desperate attack, they tried to surface, leaping out of the water to hunt the one who attacked them. Hurriedly, the knight shouted, "Great hero, look out!" The various fish tried to swallow Lin Yuan, but he escaped while mocking all of them. Quickly, the protagonist retreated to solid ground. Immediately, he materialized his sword and cursed, "Disgusting creatures." Together, they only become more disgusting. The protagonist faced the catfish head-on, slicing them with his sword as he passed each one. Those who watched him were shocked. They couldn't understand how a group of 8 couldn't match up to such a great hero. However, the knight and the others were faced with the most frightening threat from the warfish, the group attack of a gathered school. Lightning seemed to appear. Suddenly, a toxin exploded from the muddy lake, covering the entire area. The protagonist was surprised. He was faced with a large amount of dark energy, the cursed echo traveling towards him. But for Lin Han, that was just a common trick. He wouldn't fall for it in this life either. The protagonist used the underworld gate to summon the giant wolf. Used the skill Howl of the Hungry Wolf on the mountaintop. The giant wolf howled, causing the catfish to enter a dazed state. The protagonist then used the awakened mask, which has a defensive effect against toxins. He went back down into the sand swamp to attack the fish, with the mask allowing him to breathe normally. As he advanced, he brandished his energy-filled sword. Submit and meet your end. Lin Yuan aimed for the catfish's vital points, slicing each one of them into sushi. Against the last catfish, he raised his sword like Excalibur. In a matter of minutes, the protagonist had already piled up countless enemies. A final one that had managed to escape tried to flee. But for Lin Yuan, it was too slow. With the sword in hand, he threw it at the catfish. The blade traveled like an arrow, exploding on the target not far away. The knight and her team were impressed, but it was too early to let their guard down. Countless warfish were approaching. The protagonist summoned the zombie lightning scorpion to hunt them. The King of the Sands strengthened its claws, using the crystal lightning ability. From the scorpion's body, several crystals flew towards the catfish. The rain of attacks fell upon the sand swamp, hitting the fish that suffered from the sharp blows. However, the catfish were not eliminated, leaving the onlookers in shock and fear. Still, Lin Yuan never intended to exterminate all of them. He jumped from rock to rock, leaving behind the mountain of slain fish and approaching the group of players. The knight was surprised as she understood Lin Yuan's plan. The monsters were heading towards the other catfish that had been killed. Unexpectedly, the fish began to devour each other. Whenever female catfish are eliminated or lay eggs, they release a large amount of toxins. This caused the male catfish to enter a fury mode, attacking anything they encountered, even fish of their own species. The protagonist had taken advantage of the catfish's characteristics to make them attack each other. Suddenly, a giant catfish that had been separated managed to find Lin and attacked him. The fish jumped out of the dirty water, trying to swallow him. Many were surprised, as the female was the same size as the males. But however, Lin Yuan was calm. In the instant before being hit, a wolf jumped to defend him. The zombie wolves launched themselves at the catfish, beginning to devour it. The protagonist was impressed with the level 15 elite monster. Almost no damage had been done, even after he sent 6 zombie wolves. But still, they managed to immobilize the fish, making the attack easier. Shadows emerged from Lin Yuan's strike, eliminating the elite rank catfish from the female's body. Countless eggs fell, which Lin Yuan quickly began to collect. As they watched, the knight and her group asked what he was doing. The giant wolf had cut the fish, and under Lin Yuan's command, began to carry it, jumping from rock to rock. The wolf transported the fish's head filled with eggs. Suddenly, it dropped the basket, and began to howl to attract the catfish in the mud. As the roe and its pheromones overflowed, the males, attracted by the smell, changed their route and swam hastily towards the hill where Lin Yuan was. One of the knight's companions shouted, "I remember that catfish roe attracts the males. He's spreading pheromones, intentionally to create chaos among the monsters." Having gathered enough monsters, the protagonist extended his hand, opening the underworld gate and freeing the kobolds. "It's time for you to work." With the various catfish leaving the mud pit, the kobolds carrying pickaxes were able to act. They attacked with their piercing tools, pulling the fish. The people in the vicinity were surprised to see something leaking from the catfish. "That's the blue poison sac that's inside the males." The protagonist heard and confirmed that's right. The poison sac that grows in the males contains a toxic gas. The bad smell it emits makes the schools feel danger. The various fish swam through the mud pit, but upon approaching the blue liquid, they stopped advancing. They themselves were not immune to the poison, so they had to stay at the mercy of the others. Seeing all the catfish flee, the knight celebrated happily. All that was left now for Lin Yuan was to complete the mission and collect the items that the eliminated fish dropped. He jumped towards the fish, taking off the mask. He was thankful for the important work it had done. It was a shame to have to spend 5 gold coins, because you could only use a certain item once. But it was still worth the effort. Raising his hand, the protagonist took a jar. It served precisely to extract the warfish oil. Effortlessly, flying in his direction, almost forgetting something, as he was leaving, a small red sphere appeared in his hand. That was an armor-type item, a flexible sphere covered in fish skin. When pressed, it released sound, vibration, and lights, causing a slight panic in aquatic creatures. The only downside was that it had to be worn like a clown nose. The knight approached Lin Yuan, holding back laughter at the sight of the red ball. However, her eyes shone, impressed. The protagonist rolled his eyes at the knight, who offered a shower of gold to buy the clown nose. The knight's companions apologized for her, as she was always like this. Giving up on the item, he just handed it over as a gift. The knight really wanted to pay, but Lin Yuan didn't care. Suddenly, a pair of wings sprouted from Lin Yuan's back, like a celestial being, impressing the knight even more. I saw him as a hero. In the church, 2 priests were guarding a room. Inside it, Lin Yuan used a vial to release energy over the chest of Knight Doug. The knight was impressed at being healed so quickly. Doug never expected that Lin Yuan would actually manage to collect the necessary items. The mission was completed, and Lin Yuan received a gold-rank weapon, the Green Spirit Blade. He was pleased to obtain the item that he had acquired in his past life. The Green Spirit Blade increased attack power and magic damage, as well as spirit points. In addition, it possessed a ranged ability, causing damage equivalent to 150 of the character's spirit points to enemies. Although its effect was basic, it was beyond ordinary. It also had a secret effect. With each attack, it accumulated green spiritual energy inside the enemy, and after 3 hits, it caused explosive damage at the same time. The sword had been what helped Lin Yuan, in his past life, to cross the desert, until he became the #1 mage in the Lin region. Lin Yuan looked at the sword with nostalgia. He also received 1,000 reputation points in the main city, and 500 points with the Scorpion Knights. Although the reputation points were only at the neutral level, just like in his past life, they would be enough to walk through the city areas. The protagonist noticed something before leaving. He had obtained more affinity points with Doug. He felt that things were a little different this time. Knight Doug thanked Lin Yuan, calling him brother. If it weren't for you, I might have met my end. As a sign of gratitude, Doug wanted to reveal something to Lin Yuan. The protagonist, already satisfied with the affinity points, now saw the opportunity to discover a secret story. Remembering the shadow of the night, Doug warned, if you meet someone named Quincy, don't go near him. However, Lin Yuan had to frustrate him. What's wrong with Quincy? He's my teacher. Doug was shocked to hear Lin Yuan. He realized how Lin Yuan had hidden his true class and asked, "You're a necromancer, right?" With a frown, Lin Yuan questioned how he knew, since even Quincy couldn't verify such a thing. Doug revealed, "I was a knight who reported directly to the king, responsible for all sorts of secret missions, among them, hunting necromancers. For that, I learned darkness perception." Doug explained that such a unique skill of the Scorpion Knights made them automatically feel the presence of necromancers when they were nearby. Surprised, Lin Yuan asked if Doug already knew who he was, thanks to this skill perfectly crafted against necromancers. Doug denied it, revealing that due to the poison, his senses had deteriorated, and only now cured was he able to perceive it. Now I can notice this presence of the Dark Lord coming from you, which cannot be hidden. Curious, the protagonist asked about this so-called Dark Lord. To explain, Doug had to go back centuries in time. Within the immortal world, the most well-known legend says there are a total of 5 sacred beings, representing light, the shadow of the moon, nature, the seas, and the soul. But in the beginning, there was a 6th, the Dark Lord. According to Doug's story, the Dark Lord was also called the King of the Undead, and was the most powerful among the 6. Because of his strength, the Dark Lord did whatever he wanted. He gifted his most loyal followers with tremendous dark power, turning them into necromancers, and making them obey his orders. Under the rule of the Dark Lord, the necromancers not only spread plagues, eliminating millions, but also turned the dead into zombies, causing countless disasters. With that, all nations began to boycott the Lord of Darkness. Temples were destroyed, and records about him were reduced to ashes. Whenever a necromancer was discovered, they were immediately eliminated. This class came to be considered forbidden by all. Doug revealed that he had been poisoned by a necromancer, and this poison tortured him for 10 years. Initially, he thought he was doomed, but then he found Lin Yuan. In his past life, the protagonist had just been a mage, and didn't expect there to be such a complex secret path. He finally understood why the necromancer class was forbidden. Luckily, he had hidden his profile the entire time. Seeing how complicated things were becoming, he realized that investigating the main city in search of the emblem from his past life would become even more difficult. If he didn't find a way to hide the presence of the Dark Lord, and his class was exposed, it could be the end. The protagonist made a request to Doug. He asked if there was a way to escape the perception of the knight's darkness perception. Scorpion. Doug revealed that it would be possible if Quincy helped him, but he warned, if Quincy discovers Lin's true identity, Yuan would certainly eliminate him, because in the past, Quincy had lost his wife because of a necromancer. This was the real reason why Doug had warned Lin Yuan to stay away from Quincy. The protagonist returned to the gravel desert right after the conversation. Walking through the vast, arid terrain, he began to think. 10 minutes earlier, Doug had tried to stop him. Are you crazy? You really want to find Quincy? But with a firm look, Lin Yuan reminded Doug that he had no other choice. He knew that, if he carried this presence of darkness through the city, any movement would become dangerous. While reflecting on how to solve his problems, he was surprised. Several attacks in energy arrows crossed the desert in his direction. He noticed the attacks from the corner of his eye and reacted quickly, jumping back in a zigzag pattern. He managed to dodge all of them. After reaching a safe position, he looked for the enemies. On the horizon, a group was advancing in his direction, challenging. Countless players were there waiting. We've been here for days. We finally found him. Among them, a player smiled maliciously. Last time I was ambushed by you. But now I have 30 brothers with me. Ruan Feiju carried a sword on his back and was allied with dozens of guild members, prepared to fight. Let's see who will be eliminated now. A bloodthirsty look appeared on Ruan Feiju's face, delighting in his thoughts. When you fall later, I want to see how loudly you'll cry. While the group of 30 players surrounded Lin Yuan, a robotic dragonfly flew over the scene. With cameras installed in the dragonfly's eyes, the Bloodscar Guild was doing a live stream. Everywhere, even on the subway, people were watching the broadcast and hearing Ruan Feiju's voice speaking. Hello, lucky viewers. You're lucky to see today's broadcast. On this show, we're going to show you a real masterclass in slicing. Quickly, the number of viewers began to grow. In a room, some young people commented, this Bloodscar Guild is going to attack another newbie, Liv. Some people found it strange that 30 of them would team up to attack just one person. Others felt that the guild's opponent looked familiar. While some girls focused on how handsome he was, facing the two brothers, the protagonist warmed up his fists. You dogs that only know how to bark. Haven't you had enough? I'll have to finish you off one more time. The stream went wild upon hearing Lin Yuan's determined words, but Wang Feilong was furious and ordered, attack now. Lancers, warriors, and rogues advanced all at once. In a mage's hand, lightning appeared. An archer similarly prepared an attack, drawing his arrow. All without exception leaped towards Lin An. A notification appeared for the protagonist. A malicious attack has been detected. Time to counterattack. 15 minutes. Eliminating those who attacked you in this period will not increase your sin value. Smiling, Lin Yuan drew the green spirit blade. 15 minutes is enough to eliminate them, at least 3 times. From the underworld gate, the zombie army rose, charging into the battlefield. Against the lightning attacks, the protagonist scoffed, as his kobold foreman could destroy and block the blows with their bodies. The zombie lightning scorpion attacked with its stinger, piercing and poisoning the opponents. Wang Feilong shouted hurriedly, all members, attention, warriors get in formation, mages attack, rogues and archers open fire. The knight formation raised their shields, forming a defensive wall. The mages planted their staffs on the ground, preparing spells in unison. A single mage received the strength of all the others, creating a gigantic scale thundersphere. A rain of lightning fell upon the zombie scorpions. The archers didn't stand still and shot their arrows, aiming mainly at the kobolds, who had suffered continuous damage. The people on the stream wondered if those summons were easy to eliminate, treating the newbie merely as someone trying to show off. Wan Fenglong was trusting me. But before that, even if Lin Yuan summoned the giant zombie from before, it would just turn into a pile of meat. Confident, Wan Feilong exclaimed, you're going down today. Darkly, Lin Yuan asked if they were sure. Noticing Lin Yuan's hidden smile, Wan Feilong felt a chill. Suddenly, a comment on the stream revealed the surprise that everyone was starting to feel. The sand beneath the mage's feet began to move. Holes appeared in the desert, pulling the mages down. Hurriedly, all the warriors went on alert. The peace was broken again. When the kobold chief appeared, carrying a large hammer, the kobold chief broke the group's defense, hitting them one by one, making them scream as they retreated. The kobolds destroyed the shield-bearer's line of defense. The Wang brothers were shocked by the sudden turn of events. The people on the stream got excited seeing the attack from the depths and laughed at those who thought the Bloodscar Guild was only attacking a noob. The priests quickly tried to use spells to heal the wounds and neutralize the poisons. But before they could properly heal, several attacks rained down on them, causing consecutive explosions. Lin Yuan extended his hand towards the group, launching the spirit flames. A ripple appeared behind Lin Yuan. Quickly, the protagonist stabbed the ripple with his sword. The rogue who tried to attack Lin Yuan was dumbfounded. How did you know? The protagonist scoffed, looking at the man's footprints. At least I'm not stupid enough to use invisibility while walking on sand. The scorpions bravely attacked the Scar Guild, showing Lin Yuan's strength. Quickly, all the tanks were eliminated. Ruan Fei Ru held his sword with irritation on his face. Damn it! A bunch of useless fools. He bravely leaped towards Lin Yuan, intending to eliminate him personally. The protagonist looked at him seriously, awaiting the attack. In Lin Yuan's hand, the sword appeared, as dark energy spread around it. Several spirit skulls began to circle Lin Yuan. The protagonist brandished his sword, launching them towards Ruan Feiru and activating the skill, Curse of the Green Souls. Ruan Feiru stopped his attack, frightened by the skulls surrounding him. Lin Yuan advanced on Ruan Feiru, carrying the curse's energy. Execute. In an instant, Lin Yuan had already finished the attack. Ruan Feiru, standing, seemed motionless. The protagonist did a countdown, and when it reached 0, an explosion occurred, eliminating Ruan Feiru in the process. With the familiar sword in hand, Lin Yuan looked excited. The viewers on the live stream nearly doubled in number as soon as Ruan Feiru was eliminated. Meanwhile, the members of the Bloodscar Guild screamed for help in front of their leader. Huan Feilong felt like he was hallucinating. Though only a few days had passed, the man before him had become terrifying. He felt like he was facing an underworld monster, controlling everyone like puppets. Lin Yuan spotted Huan Feilong trying to escape. The guild leader hid behind his shield. "Please, don't attack me." The protagonist took his sword, walking towards Huan Feilong, who was on guard. Before Feilong could react, the sword had already struck him. On Lin Yuan's command, "It's your time to taste despair." The sword that pierced Huan Feilong put an end to the battle. The leader of the Bloodscar Guild had finally fallen. Lin Yuan's gaze sharpened as he spotted a dragonfly flying around him. He extended his hand towards the dragonfly, launching a spirit fire. The dragonfly exploded, finally leaving the place in silence. Later that night, in a random skyscraper, a discussion was taking place. In a luxury apartment, some people were trying to find out a player's identity. They had learned through messages that the Scar Guild had faced the one who eliminated the giant wolf. Trying to find out where Lin Yuan was, they found his location in the gravel desert and sent an S-class invitation to the mercenary guild, drinking wine. A man in a suit looked furious at the thought of Lin Yuan. In Black Sand City, an old man was sleeping on top of some barrels. Lin Yuan opened the door of the house, catching Quincy's attention. Quincy wanted to send him away. "I'm not teaching you today. I already have enough money." At that moment, Lin Yuan showed a serious expression and, canceling the hide profession function, stated, "I need to talk to you." As soon as Lin Yuan's forbidden class was revealed, Quincy threw a pot of booze on the floor. With a furious look, Quincy asked, even though he knew the answer, "You're a necromancer." The two stared at each other for a moment, tension in the air. Quincy gritted his teeth, and a power appeared in the mage's hand. "How dare a necromancer appear before me?" Lightning exploded around Quincy, sending several pieces of wood flying towards Lin Yuan. The protagonist disappeared, impressing Quincy with his speed. A blur passed in front of the master, and before he could realize it, a sword was already pointed at him, surprising Quincy. The protagonist asked, "Can we talk now?" Quincy was direct, asking what Lin Yuan wanted. He remembered the tip that Doug had given him before leaving the main city, at the start, about the Dark Lord's domain. The immortal world was immersed in endless despair, seeking justice. Quincy, along with his wife and his most loyal subordinates, fought against the Dark Lord. After an arduous battle, the necromancer was defeated. But Quincy's wife, while trying to heal him, was cursed. Her soul was corrupted by darkness, losing all her memories and becoming a monster that could never reincarnate. To break the curse and save his wife, the only method Quincy found was to defeat her corrupted soul. But after the battle, Quincy couldn't even hold a sword. Everyone believed he would spend the rest of his life in sorrow. Until one day, he posted a mysterious mission. If someone could save his wife, they would receive his entire fortune. If it were a necromancer, they would also get the method to deceive the senses of the darkness, a treasure he had won. Quincy planned to use the reward as a trap, save his wife, and at the same time, make the necromancers pay. However, all 158 people who accepted the mission that day never returned alive. After facing his wife, pointing his sword at Quincy, Lin Yuan demanded that he give him the mission. Quincy sighed. "All right, since you wish it." The mission he gave, called Search for the Person's Soul, required whoever accepted it to free his wife's soul within 10 days. Lin Yuan didn't think twice and accepted the mission. He left Quincy's house, to the well wishes of the old drunkard. Though inwardly Quincy was cursing with a smile. "Try to at least crawl back with your body intact." On the north side of Black Gravel City stood a memorial castle. Lin Yuan entered the dark castle, guided only by the moonlight. The protagonist had to use a night vision potion as he entered the mausoleum. He summoned kobolds to carry torches, while scorpions guarded the rear. The memorial had a total of 5 floors, where the bodies of the NPCs of Gravel City were laid out. Suddenly, a coffin opened and a zombie leaped out to attack Lin Yuan. However, the scorpion pierced the enemy with its sharp tail. Besides the zombies, there were also ghosts. The monster level increased with each floor. On the first, there were zombies up to level 3. On the second, they reached level 6. On the third, level 9. And on the fourth, even more terrifying creatures appeared, level 10 ghouls. Their gigantic bodies, with tails and horns, made them frightening beings. Reaching the end of the third floor, Lin Yuan found a portal. Let's go straight to the fourth floor. The fourth floor housed the Sanctuary of the Mourners, a dark mausoleum. The protagonist looked around, having heard something. Soon from the darkness, several red eyes stared at Lin Yuan. The ghouls used their skills of wall crawling to surround Lin Yuan, some even hanging from the ceiling. The elite ghouls were level 10. They had 2,000 hit points. Their bites were poisonous and their movements agile. Facing dozens of ghouls, Lin Yuan ordered, "Attack immediately." The scorpions used their piercing abilities, driving their stingers into the ghouls on the walls. A powerful blow from the giant scorpion destroyed the wall they were on. After the first attack, the great scorpion didn't stop, smashing several ghouls with the swing of its tail. Lin Yuan didn't stand still either, advancing against the ghouls. His sword, charged with necromantic energy, flashed among them, who were torn apart without even being able to defend themselves. In an instant, a dozen ghouls had been eliminated, but Lin Yuan still had many to face. A last ghoul crawled towards him, but couldn't even manage to attack. Almost forgotten by the protagonist, it ended up being eliminated when found. Thanks to eliminating numerous monsters, the protagonist reached level 12. He leveled up faster than he expected. The only shame was not being able to use shadow summoning on the ghouls, since they were wandering spirits. As Lin Yuan walked to the end of the room, a dark power emerged behind him. The protagonist turned quickly, only to see a beam of dark light charge at him. He raised his sword, blocking the attack. In Lin Yuan's eyes, surprise was evident. The powerful blow managed to knock him back and swallow him whole. In a chamber lit by flames in a corridor, the dark light appeared again, throwing Lin Yuan to the ground. The energy concentrated on a single point, the chains that sealed a coffin, where a woman rested in a deep sleep. The protagonist looked around, realizing the area had completely changed. The woman in the coffin, with a long green dress and sharp red claws, seemed to be sleeping. Suddenly, she licked her lips and smiled. "Hehehe, I've waited a long time for you." The coffin and chains exploded as the woman broke free. Floating in the air, the vengeful spirit seemed to revel. Finally, fresh flesh and blood. Lin Yuan realized he had been taken to the 5th level. With a threatening smile, the vengeful spirit roared, "I'm going to slice you to pieces." The creature's claws lunged at Lin Yuan, who raised his sword to defend himself. The vengeful boss activated the Flower of the Underworld ability, creating several thorny vines to attack Lin Yuan. The protagonist quickly retreated, dodging the blows. The spots hit by the vines released a poisonous liquid with powerful corrosive properties. Lin Yuan continued to dodge, while raising his sword once more, showing that such attacks were useless against him. He brandished his blade, pruning the vines with sharp attacks. The protagonist pressed the vengeful spirit to retreat. In an instant, she lost all her vines, needing to protect herself. Furious, she screamed and clenched her nails to counterattack with an explosion of fury. Banshee's Lament was activated, overflowing a large amount of energy in her scream. The protagonist was surprised, thinking it was just a ranged ability from a distance, but he soon realized that it was actually a summon. The walls began to shake, and several wooden doors began to move. The protagonist saw several skeletons coming out of the graves, and promptly, Lin Yuan got into a battle stance. He discovered he would have to face all the characters from Black Earth City who had ever been eliminated. In addition to the people who originally lived in the city, he would also have to fight everyone who tried to challenge the mission given by Quince. The protagonist cursed the vengeful spirit for wanting to summon all those enemies. The skeletons emerged from the graves, shrouded in dark necromantic energy. The number of enemies was greater than Lin Yuan expected. He had never imagined facing so many piles of bones. The kobolds rose from the gate of the underworld, under Lin Yuan's command. The protagonist promptly ordered, "Block these bastards' doors." The kobolds advanced quickly, trying to stop the skeletons from leaving the vaults. The scorpions also acted alongside them. Lin Yuan extended his hand and ordered, "Apply the bloodlust state." One of the kobold foremen brandished a thorny vine, striking the scorpions to enrage them. With a furious look, Lin Yuan intended to eliminate them all. The scorpions and kobolds continued to advance. One of the scorpions used its burrowing ability, while a kobold launched a heavy whip attack against the spirit, Vengeful. She quickly retreated, dodging the ground shatter that sent rocks flying in her direction. However, the ceiling suddenly cracked. The vengeful spirit looked up, surprised. The stones plummeted from the ceiling towards her, but none managed to hit her. Lin Yuan was astonished. He remembered that wandering spirits belonged to the ghost-type monster family. Their bodies could pass through structures, making them immune to physical attacks. Despite that, he recalled that spirit-type creatures took double damage from magic attacks. With a dark look, he swung his sword, creating several dark skulls that advanced in a magical wave towards the vengeful spirit. The skulls cackled as they attacked, activating the blue curse to damage the ghost. The vengeful spirit, however, managed to dodge, suddenly increasing her speed. At the same time, with the stones falling, the kobolds managed to block the advance of the skeletons summoned by the enemy. But Lin Yuan knew they could break through the defense line at any moment. As he thought about how he could contain them, he took a ring from his inventory. He equipped the Ring of Paralysis, an item with a paralyzing toxin. Immediately, Lin Yuan advanced on the vengeful spirit, wielding his sword, with the ring on one of his fists. He closed it in a blow that carried the paralyzing toxin. The ring's paralyzing effect magic struck the spirit, vengeful as a lightning bolt. With the target hit, the effect was activated, stopping space-time. However, Lin Yuan wasn't finished. The skulls accompanied him in the swing of his sword. The first skull fell upon the vengeful spirit, who tried to protect herself at the last second. But the power of the attack threw her far away, making her hit a wall. While the vines she had once again created were cut by Lin Yuan, after hitting the wall, the vengeful spirit fell to the ground. Lin Yuan was satisfied with the attack he executed. What Lin Yuan expected happened. After being hit by the green spirit curse, her speed had dropped. Raising his hand, Lin Yuan ordered the wolf to howl. With the wolf's howl, a skill was activated. A magic circle appeared under the vengeful spirit. She was still confused, stunned. Even though the stun only worked for 5 seconds, it was enough for Lin Yuan to act. As he advanced on the vengeful spirit, he spun his body, launching countless attacks. The energy strikes fell upon the vengeful spirit, causing an infinity of continuous damage. The vengeful spirit gritted her teeth, with fury taking over. She suddenly began to roar, with a dark energy consuming Lin Yuan. He was shocked to see the skill activated by the vengeful boss corpse explosion. A large explosion occurred, creating a smokescreen. Kobolds and scorpions, one after another, were eliminated by the vengeful spirit as she blew each of them up with the skill. After the vengeful spirit caused a great commotion, the air in the mausoleum calmed down again. Lin Yuan stood amidst countless wolves, surrounded by his necromantic energy. He had expected to face the corpse explosion skill. The vengeful spirit had used such a skill in an attempt to collapse the entire tomb. With the number of zombies falling to a third, Lin Yuan realized a great loss on his side, but not his own defeat. Walking towards the vengeful spirit, he announced, "It's time to end you." The curse of the green spirits was activated once more. Along with Lin Yuan's advance, the ghost skulls appeared. They all traveled towards the weakened, vengeful spirit, hitting her before she could use a new spell. The vengeful spirit screamed from the pain of the attack's damage. She entered a near-death state, with less than 10% of her original hit points. Soon her hit points were drained, after each ghost skull hit her with the wind. The vengeful spirit began to disintegrate. Lin Yuan was congratulated. He defeated the boss monster, receiving experience points as a reward. After finishing off of the vengeful spirit and seeing the scene calm down, Lin Yuan wondered if it was really over. However, a gentle spiritual energy caught his attention. The spirit of a mage appeared with a sweet voice. "Thank you, brave human." The spirit of Quincy's wife began to fade while transmitting her energy to Lin Yuan. In the protagonist's hand, a ring was formed, the beloved ring, a quest item that symbolized the love of Quincy and his wife. The protagonist looked sad to receive only a quest item as a reward. However, soon a necromancer book materialized before him. Receiving the book with a skull on the cover, Lin Yuan's attention was drawn. Lin Yuan never expected that the skill, Corpse Explosion, was exclusive to necromancers. He wondered if he had received the skill book, because the one who had sealed Quincy's wife was a servant of the Dark Lord. The skill book was used instantly, being engraved in Lin Yuan's memory. An energy enveloped Lin Yuan, teaching him the skill. Corpse Explosion makes zombies explode, dealing damage corresponding to 60% of their hit points to surrounding enemies. Although the skill caused him to lose the zombies, the damage and range were not bad. Great for a surprise attack. Sometime later, Lin Yuan returned to Black Gravel City. Seeing the ring he had gifted his wife in Lin Yuan's hands, Quincy was in disbelief. Taking the ring and remembering the past, he commented surprised, "A sealed soul has no memories. Only when she is free will she recover her memories and drop her most precious item." With great emotion, Quincy asked Lin Yuan if his wife had suffered. Lin Yuan confirmed. In tears, Quincy remembered his wife seeing his wish fulfilled. Quincy had never expected that a necromancer whom he hated would come to fulfill his wish. He swore he would remember this kindness forever. Quincy took out a mysterious box. Inside it was an iron crown with a necromantic aura, the Dark Crown. With the crown, the sin value could not be seen, and it hid the aura of darkness. Lin Yuan took the crown. Although it provided no additional stats, it had the effects he was looking for. With this, the protagonist hoped to no longer worry about the Scorpion Knights and to be able to walk freely through the city. Lin Yuan equipped the crown. The item's energy overflowed around him, forming a magic circle. With the crown on his head, Lin Yuan felt one step closer to finding the truth. Leaving Black Sand City, Lin Yuan headed to the great city of Sandbreeze. Inside Sandbreeze, there were large and small player guilds. In the streets, various recruiters were advertising their groups and their banners. Looking at the rankings, Lin Yuan saw no more than 10 powerful guilds. So he wondered if the human who would betray humanity was among them. Lin Yuan saw himself as just a newbie in Sandbreeze City, so it wouldn't be easy to join one of these guilds. Thinking about all this, he figured he would need to find a good opportunity. While walking through the city, some people were following him. He quickly entered a street to dodge them. A knight with long golden hair who was following him was surprised to lose sight of him. In the next instant, he felt a cold sword on his shoulder, accompanied by a cold voice. "Who are you?" The feminine-looking knight was startled by the sudden pressure and turned with shining eyes. "Finally, I found you, my hero Yuan." The boy tried to jump on Lin Yuan, but fell to the ground when he dodged. Lin Yuan managed to recognize him. The knight pointed to himself with confidence. "I recognized you when I saw you in that guild's broadcast." The young man revealed that he had found clues about Lin Yuan among thousands of comments, and proudly spent 2 million to upgrade the facial recognition system just to find him. Lin Yuan couldn't believe so much money had been spent just to locate him. The knight pondered if it really was that much money, since the Han Corporation spent hundreds of millions just to test the system. Upon hearing the name of the corporation, which was worth trillions of dollars and controlled all the world's technology, Lin Yuan was surprised to discover that the knight was related to it. Lin Yuan was so surprised that he wondered if he should eliminate him immediately. The knight's eyes shone as he vibrated with excitement. Lord Yuan, if you team up with me, there will be a rank S hunt inside the Bloodscale Cavern tomorrow." While begging to team up with Lin Yuan, the knight stumbled, getting embarrassed. The protagonist told him to go away, warning him not to follow. The knight smiled self-deprecatingly, knowing that someone as strong as Lin Yuan wouldn't join him. He scratched his head and sighed. For this hunt, the third team of the Black Tree Guild will also be there, to pick newbies. If you perform well, you might have a chance. The protagonist looked at the rankings, remembering that Guild was 10th in the Guild rankings. The knight sighed for having to try his luck alone. However, behind him, Lin Yuan asked, "Where is the hunt?" The knight turned around, surprised. Lin Yuan repeated his request for the information. The knight jumped at Lin Yuan's feet and revealed, "Tomorrow at 8 in the morning? Mr. Yuan, are you in?" The protagonist pushed him, telling him to just call him Lin Yuan. Before deciding, Lin Yuan revealed that he needed to make some preparations. Being pushed, the knight seemed a little surprised. A banner with skulls was unfurled. There lay the camp of the Vulture Thieves, a ruined place in the sandy desert. Suddenly, an explosion occurred, destroying part of the site. Lin Yuan, with his necromantic energy, walked through the camp among the monsters. The Lord should be just ahead. He quickly raised the Vulture Thieves, turning them into zombies. The vultures followed Lin Yuan with confidence. He advanced, but just ahead, coming out of a building. Countless monsters emerged. Countless vultures raised their swords, protecting their leader on a throne. The vultures howled and advanced. Upon seeing the human, Lin Yuan didn't stand still and sent his zombies into battle. Living vultures and zombies quickly entered combat, intensified by their similar stats. A normal vulture threw its sword, spinning towards Lin Yuan, who remained still before it. At the last moment, he disappeared, and the sword stuck in the ground. The vulture was confused. In the next instant, Lin Yuan appeared behind him, brandishing his sword to eliminate him. The protagonist zigzagged among the vultures, eliminating half a dozen of them in seconds. Soon Lin Yuan had eliminated a group of 10 enemies. After passing the vultures, he faced the leader's seat, but was surprised. The boss monster had disappeared. The vulture thief lord suddenly appeared behind Lin Yuan. The level 19 monster used the backstab skill, trying to eliminate him before being hit. Lin Yuan used the skill, corpse explosion. Several zombie vultures jumped at the vulture lord. Lin Yuan's eyes flashed, and immediately the zombies exploded, consuming the vulture lord. The vulture lord, however, managed to escape the attack and squawked in fury. The protagonist wouldn't let him escape, and advanced quickly. With a furious look, he activated the shadow gauntlet. The punch flew towards the vulture, hitting it in the chest with great energy. The vulture flew towards a wall, destroying it with the impact of its body. With the powerful blow, Lin Yuan eliminated the bandit vulture lord, and thanks to the experience points, he reached level 13. The Curse of Darkness. Skill reached level 3, while Corpse Explosion reached level 2, increasing their percentages. Lin Yuan, satisfied, observed the increase in the skill's power. He pulled out a skill scroll, used to evolve powers. The protagonist analyzed corpse explosion while using the scroll. The efficiency isn't bad. I used the scroll to evolve Curse of Darkness before, and now I've increased it to level 3. At the same time, I also learned the art of corpse explosion. With 130 slots for monsters in his army, Lin Yuan was also satisfied. The protagonist raised the Vulture Captains, level 15, as well as the level 19 Vulture Lord. He observed that, when reviving the vultures as zombies, they acquired the Poison Hand skill, an attack that added 20 poison points. He remembered that when he had revived the Giant Wolf last time, he had obtained the Wraith's Fury skill, which increased allies' critical power by 20%. This made Lin Yuan wonder if reviving Lord-level monsters gave them special abilities. Interesting. As he was thinking, he received a notification that the hunt campaign would begin in 2 hours. With excitement on his face, he decided to get moving. The protagonist headed to the Bloodscale Cavern, formed by rocks with shapes resembling scales. Leaning against a rock, he saw a glistening shine and questioned, "What are you wearing? Are you disguised as a golden statue?" Before him stood the knight in golden armor and cape, who had invited him to the hunt. The knight smiled, "Yuan, I spent 50 coins to hire the master blacksmith to create this super armor." As he moved around excitedly, however, the armor's belt broke. Before he knew it, his pants fell down, revealing his floral underwear. The incident caused embarrassment for both him and Lin Yuan, who was watching. The protagonist mocked, "It's the first time I've seen armor like that." The knight quickly pulled up his pants, making a lame excuse. In the next moment, the helmet's visor closed, preventing him from seeing. He shouted hurriedly, "I can't see! Save me, Yuan!" The knight stumbled and fell, bumping his head on another knight. When the visor was finally opened, he looked up, open-mouthed. Before him stood a grim bald man. The bald Zhao Kui, warrior and captain of the 3rd team of the Black Tree Guild, looked at him with a smile. "Are you all right?" Although the man in front of the youth was smiling, he felt like he was facing a venomous snake. Surprised, he was suddenly grabbed from behind. Lin Yuan questioned him. "Aren't you going to take off that stupid armor?" Zhao Kui stared at Lin Yuan thoughtfully. The protagonist felt his gaze and returned a sharp glare, with red eyes. This made Zhao Kui grit his teeth, annoyed at feeling challenged. At that moment, a voice from behind the three called out, "Hey, you three, which one of you is Hankin?" Hankin was precisely the golden-haired swordsman. The man who asked the question looked at the list and stared at the young man in armor. "It's you, your armor is eccentric." Everyone began to laugh, mocking Hankin for looking like he was cosplaying. Awkwardly, Hankin raised his hand. "You're the 3 brothers from the Black Tree Guild, right? This here is my friend." Before Hankin could finish speaking, the man with the list pointed his sword at him. "I don't care about newbies. Remember, we're not letting you in because you're paying double, but because our captain is generous." Facing the sword, Lin Yuan silently hid his dissatisfaction. The bald Zhao Kui smiled at his brother. "What are you doing? Be nice to our new friends." The man with the sword backed away, claiming he was just kidding, but he ordered, "Don't be arrogant, just because of the captain's kind words. You need to appreciate this opportunity with gratitude." "Understood." Hankin hurriedly nodded. Finally, a mage clapped his hands, commanding everyone to their places. "Let's officially begin the roll call." At the back of the group, Hankin changed his armor, while Lin Yuan analyzed the players who would participate in the hunt. In Lin Yuan's eyes, they looked like newbies, who had just entered the main city. After taking the count, Zhao Kui moved forward towards the cave. "Don't waste time. Let's go." Before entering, however, he warned, "Rest easy. Even the Reaper changes his path when he sees the Black Tree Guild." Confident, he led the team. The knight who had pointed his sword at Hankin was surprised when he took out a small flag. Hankin waved the flag at Lin Yuan, as if he were at a picnic. "Let's go, Yuan. I heard there are luminous slimes in this cave." The protagonist ignored the jokes, and upon entering the cave, he smelled a scent of terror. Inside the scaled cave, they discovered it was wide, but dark. After a few minutes of walking, they found some forks in the path. So far, they hadn't even encountered any Iron Eater lizards, common monsters in the dungeon, which was strange. One of the team members asked Captain Zhao which path they should take. Confident, Zhao Kui thought they should split up. While everyone was worried about the danger, they didn't notice a monster that appeared behind them. The mage tried to calm everyone down, assuring them that the captain had already scouted the path ahead. A knight was surprised by what they said Zhao had done. Zhao Kui confirmed, "That's right. Among the 3 paths, the middle one contains lizard pheromones, and the risk of a surprise attack is high. Therefore, the other 2 are safer." Considering efficiency, safety, and the possibility of valuable encounters, Zhao Kui stated that his guild would take the middle path, the most difficult one, while the others would take the side paths. With a malicious smile, he asked for the others' opinions. The mage who had commented earlier praised Zhao Kui, causing the others to follow suit. Lin Yuan raised his hand, stating that he would take the left path. The bald man nodded, asking if anyone would go with him. However, people didn't want to, since one seemed eccentric, and the other hid his level in class. A girl commented that the mysterious man seemed handsome, but quickly refused when she was invited to accompany him. Zhao Kui pretended to feel pity, stating that he couldn't force anyone to go with them. Lin Yuan didn't care and called for Hankin to follow him. The duo then went alone down the left path. Watching them go, Zhao Kui smiled maliciously. Arrogant idiots. From the ceiling, water droplets dripped periodically. Lin Yuan and Hankin followed the damp path, where slimes appeared frequently. Seeing the temperature drop rapidly, Hankin raised his sword and shield, feeling that something was strange. I feel like someone is watching us. Actually, that feeling is getting stronger and stronger. Surprised that Hankin had only just noticed, Lin Yuan confirmed that there was something on that path. Hankin was shocked, as he thought Captain Zhao had investigated the route to ensure it was safe. With a smile, Lin Yuan asked if he really believed a bald guy. This is a rank S hunt, and they came with countless newbies. It's obvious they want to use us as bait, to find out if the path is safe or not. Confused, Hankin asked why Lin Yuan wouldn't expose this guild. The protagonist smiled upon hearing the question. Suddenly, Lin Yuan grabbed one of the slimes from the wall, throwing the weak slime towards the end of the cave. He declared, "Coincidentally, I want to see how many interesting things can be attracted." Further ahead, there was a dark cave. From the cave, several red eyes emerged when the slime fell. Near them, a large number of lizards, elite rank Iron Eaters, came out of the darkness. The level 16 monster was lurking, waiting for an opportunity. In another fork, a sword was stuck in the stone floor. A fire tornado was created by the sword's owner, attacking the lizards inside the cave. At the same time, other attacks fell upon the monsters. Confident, the guild knight brandished his sword to make the lizards suffer from his attacks. He walked up to Zhao Kui. "Captain, things are going more smoothly than we thought. I can't believe they actually believed you had investigated the path." Ha 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 ha! Swinging a spiked ball, Zhao Kui imagined that, with what must be happening on the other two paths, they could collect double the rewards without any effort. Suddenly, 3 lizards jumped towards Zhao Kui, but he was confident in facing them. The attacks fell upon the 3 lizards, which couldn't even get close to him. The bald man licked his lips, mocking, "The weak should always stay at the bottom of the well." At the same time, Hankin was surprised. The lizards used an iron tail to attack, but vultures appeared from all over, throwing spinning scimitars from a distance. The number of vultures was absurdly high, enough to easily dominate the lizards. Hankin couldn't understand where they had come from. So many undead monsters. In Hankin's view, this was even more impressive than the battle in the sand swamp. Lin Yuan reminded Hankin that he had said the day before that he would make some preparations. This left Hankin surprised, not believing that he had gathered so many monsters in just one day. Quickly, 55 lizards were eliminated. Having finished the battle quickly, Lin Yuan liked the vulture's efficiency. Hankin cried with envy, wishing he was as strong as Lin Yuan. Suddenly, an earth tremor occurred, like an earthquake. Shocked, he observed Lin Yuan's actions. As Lin Yuan was busy manipulating the energy of the slain monsters, Hankin figured he could check it out himself. Wanting to be useful, seeing that the noise was coming from the back of the cave, Hankin walked slowly. Suddenly, he felt the vibration disappear. Unexpectedly, an attack emerged from underground, like a tentacle that rose up, knocking Hankin down. Looking up, Hankin was grimly shocked. What looked like a large tongue extended out from the ground. Hankin was still trying to understand what it was. The red tongue immediately attacked Hankin. He fell to the ground upon being hit. Before he could react, the tongue wrapped around him. Hankin was pulled before he could defend himself. He thought this was the end, but a sword slash appeared. Lin Yuan saved Hankin by cutting the tongue. Warning: just a beast that hides in the bowels of the earth to gnaw on. Dirt. How dare you show off your tricks in front of me? Lin Yuan quickly grabbed Hankin, pulling him along. The protagonist ran quickly, taking him to a safe place. Upon being released, Hankin coughed hurriedly, asking to leave. Suddenly, the ground began to crack, and what was hidden seemed to want to reveal itself. Hankin realized it was too late to run. A large, tongueless lizard emerged from underground, roaring furiously. That was the Iron Eater iguana, the boss monster that lived beneath the earth. Hankin began to tremble, remembering that the mission didn't mention that the iguana was boss class. He apologized to Lin Yuan for making him face a monster of this level, even willing to give his own life to allow the protagonist to escape. Lin Yuan smiled, seeing how Hankin faced the monster. This terrible being is my prey. The iguana suddenly rushed towards Lin Yuan, seeking revenge for its severed tongue. The protagonist charged towards it, intending to finish it. The vulture bosses flew over the iguana to throw their scimitars. Soon the swords were thrown at the giant monster. The boss iguana defended itself, using the swing of its iron tail. Similarly, the scimitars that hit its body were deflected. However, they served to create an opening. Lin Yuan appeared behind the iguana. several skulls appeared, the spiritual curse, attacking the monster from an angle where it had no vision. The attacks fell upon its back, making the iguana scream. Lin Yuan landed after the magic attack. The boss monster turned against him, and on the iguana's back, only a few burn marks appeared. The effect of the attack made Lin Yuan frown. However, the iguana was furious. The boss monster activated a skill, gushing a high-pressure toxic sand gas towards Lin Yuan. The gas exploded in front of him, forming a toxic cloud. Hankin shouted hurriedly, "Yuan, look out." Lin Yuan had to back away, as the monster's toxic breath proved to be corrosive. The ground melted with the liquefied gas. With a grim look, he realized that fighting would be more difficult than he had imagined. The iguana's tail shot towards Lin Yuan, who managed to dodge by jumping back, enjoying the fun of the battle. While retreating, Lin Yuan summoned the Vulture Master. With 2 blades in hand, the flying monster advanced. The blades fell upon the iguana, trying to pierce it. But the boss monster acted fast, lashing its tail to counter the vulture's attack. Hankin was tremendously surprised by the strength of the new monster summoned by Lin Yuan. His eyes were practically shining. The vulture circled the iguana, trying to attack it from behind. With the backstab skill activated, the vulture raised its blades once more. However, against the blades, the iguana activated the impenetrable fortress skill, increasing its defense power. Consequently, it managed to counterattack once more with its tail. Lin Yuan shouted hurriedly, "Look out!" However, the tail hit the vulture, throwing it against the stone wall. Surprised by the iguana's reaction time, Hankin even wondered if the monster boss had eyes on its back. Observing the iguana, Hankin's comment caught the protagonist's attention. He remembered how all of the vulture's attacks, even stealthy ones, had been blocked. He believed that lizards were simple creatures, remembering that they were sensitive to light and therefore hardly found enemies when they stopped moving. However, the lizard's peripheral vision was excellent. They also had a sense of smell and hearing, capable of perfectly detecting the presence of enemies. Some species even had infrared to detect body heat. Combining all these aspects, lizards had a sensitivity to movement much greater than that of humans. With all this information in mind, Lin Yuan realized he would need to be creative to be able to defeat it. Several spiritual flames rained down on the iguana. The protagonist attacked while taunting. "Let's see if your scales are too tough, or if my fireballs are even hotter." Facing the fire attacks, the tongueless iguana crawled towards Lin Yuan. The protagonist continued to attack while retreating, even with the iguana roaring at him. Lin Yuan's plan had been set in motion. He intended to draw all the iguana's focus onto himself. Worried, Rankin tried to warn Lin Yuan that he was in danger. "Its defense is too high. Those fireballs won't do any damage." Rankin suddenly realized where Lin Yuan was running, towards the lizards that had been killed. Earlier, Lin Yuan had turned those lizards into zombies. As soon as he passed them, he spun his body, changing direction. This time, Lin Yuan distanced himself from the iguana, leaving it to face the zombie lizards. Quickly, the lizards surrounded the boss rank monster. Seeing the iguana still trying to chase him, Lin Yuan cursed, "You big oaf! Don't you know when to stop?" The iguana roared furiously towards Lin Yuan, who responded by using a skill. Enjoy the sweet taste of explosions. The necromantic power was activated with the corpse explosion art. A large number of explosions erupted from the lizards and surrounded the iguana boss monster. Thanks to the explosions, Lin Yuan saw the monster's defense break. Despite this, the iguana was even more furious and ignored the damage it took to run towards Lin Yuan, who attacked it. The protagonist advanced immediately, jumping towards the iguana, while commanding the vulture chief to take the left flank. The two of them ran between the rocks, using them as footholds to advance. Lin Yuan remembered that the lizards had a weak spot. These animals' eyes couldn't focus on enemies to the left and right at the same time. On one side of the iguana, the vulture chief raised a crossbow with 3 bolts. To face it, the iguana stopped advancing, gathering a large amount of energy in its open mouth. Lin Yuan, however, reached the iguana from the other side, breaking the monster's attack. The iguana's eyes only caught a glimpse of the human's approach at the last moment. "With this attack, I declare your end." Like a meteor, Lin Yuan descended upon the iguana, wielding his downward-pointing sword. The iguana boss roared furiously as it was hit in its vital spot, but soon its cry faded away. Lin Yuan received countless experience points, leveling up directly to level 14. Meanwhile, the iguana boss lay on the ground with empty eyes. 5 minutes later, Lin Yuan had restored his zombies' health points to 85%, in addition to recruiting new zombie lizards, thanks to the Dark Curse skill, which regenerated 20% of allied units' health points with a cooldown of only 6 seconds. With the skill needing only 100 more points to reach level 4, Lin Yuan figured he could level it up with a skill scroll. Although Corpse Explosion consumed countless undead, getting the Master Iguana as one of his zombies made it worthwhile. Lin Yuan declared to his new pet, "From now on, you will be my shield." Suddenly, Rankin's cry reached Lin Yuan's ears. Rankin was carrying a box full of armor. His eyes shone as he celebrated. "It's the first time I've seen so many items. Should we start counting them now?" Lin Yuan told him to calm down, as there were still some rats they needed to eliminate. Obviously, Lin Yuan wasn't talking about the lizards. At another fork in the path, lizard monsters filled the ground. After eliminating countless enemies, Zalcui smiled. "It's not even fun fighting these idiots." Those from the Black Tree Guild accompanying Zalcui praised and flattered him in every possible way. Zalcui kicked one last lizard before moving on. Behind him were a warrior and a mage, whom he ordered to collect the bodies of the monsters. But suddenly, rocks fell from the cave ceiling. The three of them had to act nimbly, to dodge or block the rocks. Furious, Zalcui shouted, "Who's there? Who dares to ambush the Black Tree Guild?" Amidst the cloud of dust, two people appeared. "Lin Yuan, in front of Rankin," asked the bald man. "Aren't you going to collect these bodies? If not, I will." A mage was shocked to recognize the pair. "Impossible. You were supposed to be eaten by the iron iguana." Fuming, Rankin pointed a finger at them. "You still have the nerve to say that? I thought the Black Tree Guild was fair. I never imagined they'd use players as bait for dungeons." The knight accompanying Zalcui scoffed, stating that inferior beings should feel honored to be trampled by the guild. While everyone argued, Zalcui frowned, not understanding how those two were alive. He stared at the pair, one of whom was fuming and the other remained silent. The silent young man irritated him more and more, which made him want to eliminate him immediately. Zalcui took a step forward, commenting, "I don't know how lucky you were to survive, but now your good luck has run out." He advanced quickly, swinging the iron sphere to attack. Lin Yuan pulled Rankin back, dodging. "Stay back." The protagonist promptly counterattacked, swinging his sword. "Think you can do this alone?" Facing the sword, Zalcui swung the iron sphere once more. The weapons clashed, exploding against each other. Lin Yuan retreated after the clash with a serious look. Seeing his attack was defended, Zalcui got excited. But Lin Yuan would make him regret it. Using the curse of the green spirits, the skulls flew furiously towards Zalcui. The captain of the Black Tree Guild jumped nimbly, despite his heavy armor, dodging the attacks as he advanced. However, upon reaching where Lin Yuan was, he realized the young man had vanished into the smoke. Zalcui was still looking for him when a shadow appeared behind him. Quickly, Zalcui raised his shield, blocking the sword attack while mocking. "Do you really think I'm defenseless, idiot? It's better for those who survived by luck to keep an eye open." Zalcui suddenly disappeared. The protagonist looked around for him, until he reappeared behind him with a furious look. "For someone useless, life is worthless." Lin Yuan was surprised to hear the voice behind him. He turned around hastily, only to be hit squarely by the iron ball. Flying to the other side of the cave, Lin Yuan slammed into a wall, destroying it with his body. Rankin got scared and shouted worriedly for Lin Yuan. However, a knight and a mage were already fighting over who would fight. Rankin. Meanwhile, Zalcui walked slowly to Lin Yuan, who was lying on the ground. "I don't have time to play with you, so just perish." With an excited look, he clenched his fist, throwing a punch at Lin Yuan. But shock appeared in Zalcui's eyes, as he failed to complete the attack. Lin Yuan had blocked Zalcui's punch, holding it, while questioning, "So you're the captain of the Black Tree Guild's third team?" A shocked look appeared on Zalcui's face. The young man who had stopped his attack was smiling. In Lin Yuan's eyes, red intensified with the green of necromancy, as he commented in a hoarse voice, "I think I understand the level of the guild, ranked 10th in the main city." His fist being held, Zalcui trembled. He tried to pull his fist back, but Lin Yuan twisted it, squeezing even tighter as he stared at him coldly. Suddenly, Lin Yuan swung his body, throwing Zalcui away. Zalcui fell near, his companions who were about to attack. Rankin. As such, he blamed himself for underestimating his opponent. Getting up, he used all his strength to charge once more. The knight and the mage, Zalcui's companions, shouted in unison, and jumped with him to attack together. But in Lin Yuan's eyes, a stick remains weak, no matter how many others join it. Lin Yuan disappeared before the triple attack could hit. In the next instant, two zombie vultures appeared above the Black Tree Guild trio, flapping their wings. They attacked the two who had joined Zalcui. Zalcui's eyes reflected the light of the attack falling towards him. Several skulls, surrounded by necromantic energy, dove at him. The attack exploded on Zalcui, throwing him upwards. Zalcui fell alongside his companions, who were being forced to the ground by Lin Yuan's vultures. When Zalcui realized Lin Yuan had already approached, he quickly tried to intimidate Lin Yuan. "Wait, if you eliminate me here, the Black Tree Guild will hunt you down." Lin Yuan's eyes showed no change in emotion. He looked to the side, however, and saw Rankin hugging his leg with love in his eyes. "Boss, you really never give up. I was so worried." Lin Yuan shook his leg, throwing him away. Then he raised his sword, declaring, "I know your guild is not only tyrannical in the outside world, but also cruel in the immortal world. If you lose levels and equipment, your guild will punish you too, won't they?" Have you thought about how to explain the situation to them? Hastily, Zalqui tried to negotiate for his life with Lin Yuan. The protagonist thought and demanded, "Give me a list of the high-level players in your guild. Write down the characters' classes and traits." In Lin Yuan's past life, the skills used by the first disciple were unknown. No one knew how to deal with them. Therefore, he must have belonged to a rare class that no one knew. Oblivious to this information, Zalqui confusedly asked Lin Yuan what he would do with the list. But Lin Yuan punished him with a sharp poke, so he wouldn't ask useless questions. "Choose. Are you going to write it or not?" Hastily, Zalqui nodded. "I'll write it." Sometime later, Lin Yuan read the list given by Zalqui. Although there were some special classes, none matched that of the first disciple. Later, Zalqui asked fearfully, "Boss, can you let us go?" The protagonist nodded. "I'll let you go." Zalqui immediately thanked him, preparing to leave. But Lin Yuan attacked them before they could realize it. The spiritual flame hit them, as Lin Yuan reminded them, "You've hurt so many innocent people that you need to give them an explanation." On the other side, upon eliminating the three, Lin Yuan obtained a sword, the iron ball, and a cloak. While Lin Yuan collected the items, he observed Rankin's actions. Rankin had found a chest and showed it excitedly. "Look, boss, they also found a treasure chest that hasn't been opened." Opening the chest, Lin Yuan stated he would choose one item and leave the rest for Rankin, who hastily refused. Rankin stated he wanted to buy the chest, so it wouldn't be a disadvantage to anyone. Setting the chest aside, Lin Yuan accepted as he didn't care much. Seeing the collected armor, items that didn't suit him, Lin Yuan allowed Rankin to have them. Rankin bought all the items, depositing 54 coins into Lin Yuan's account. The pair left the cave after collecting the equipment. Although some were silver rank, none were gold rank, a difficult rank to obtain at such a level. Starting to call Lin Yuan Lord of the Abyss, due to a pun on his name, Rankin stated he had a tremendous doubt. He revealed, "I heard that the Black Tree Guild is vengeful and will attack people in the outside world, who defeat them in the immortal world. How about I send a guard to protect you?" Stating that this guild was just a bunch of insects, Lin Yuan reassured him. As soon as he took off the helmet, Lin Yuan heard his mother's voice, "Yuan, come eat." The protagonist stood up, answering, "I'm coming." However, as soon as Lin Yuan opened his bedroom door, he came face to face with a slender man in a suit, wearing a helmet. Seeing the man, Lin Yuan took a step back. The man, Lin Yuan's father, took off the helmet, commenting with a smile, "Yuan, isn't this the helmet you used to play? Is it broken?" Checking the helmet in confusion, Lin Yuan asked his father when he had bought a gaming helmet. Afraid he had broken the helmet, Lin Yuan's father commented worriedly, "What am I going to do?" "Your mother found this while cleaning little Lin Tan's room." The protagonist ended up remembering that it was around this time, in his past life, that Lin Tan had awakened a secret class. Lin Tan's mother interrupted his conversation with his father, calling them to eat. It was already getting dark when the family began to have dinner before a lavish table. Lin Yuan's mother commented with concern, "Your father doesn't understand these new things, but he wants to talk to you. He spent a whole afternoon and couldn't even manage to turn on the helmet." His secret revealed, Lin Yuan's father quickly tried to correct his wife's words. "I was just worried that something had happened to the helmet, so I was checking it." Lin Yuan was thinking of getting his parents into the immortal world and using the resources he had inside the game to strengthen them. With that, when the cataclysm arrived, they would be able to protect themselves. Thus, he declared, "This game isn't difficult. I'll buy 2 more helmets tomorrow, so you can try playing it." Lin Yuan's mother didn't want him to spend money, but he reassured her and curiously asked, "Where is Lin Tan?" Figuring her daughter was with friends, Lin Yuan's mother decided to call her. Lin Yuan did the same, but found that the young woman's phone was unavailable. Lin Yuan found the situation strange, since his sister, even if she didn't answer, would send a message. Believing her daughter was eating out, Lin Yuan's mother encouraged him to keep eating. Lin Yuan, however, stood up, stating that he was going to the market. His mother wanted to stop him, since the food would get cold, but his father stopped her, figuring that Lin Yuan was trying to get closer, again to his sister. Their father wanted to encourage them. The protagonist went down the apartment stairs while remembering the past. In his previous life, he had seen Lin Tan come home, covered in wounds, but she ignored him, warning him not to tell anyone what he had seen. That day was still present in Lin Yuan's mind. In his past life, after Lin Tan started playing Eternity, she quickly awakened, but had to face various difficulties. It had all started with the appearance of a mysterious organization, the System Organization. The System Organization was a mysterious group, founded by 9 celestial chosen. Only they were qualified to join the system. Among these, there was an existence called the Prophet. The Prophet could sense the celestial chosen, in reality, and send members to train them to join the system. At a terrifying speed, the power of the System Organization became invincible in the game. Not only that, but their influence in the real world also grew stronger. Although their actions became suspicious, they did some good to maintain the stability of society, which made them unique. After Lintan was invited to join them, she frequently faced difficult missions, but never mentioned anything about the organization. At home, Lin Yuan hoped that she hadn't joined them again. Leaving the apartment, Lin Yuan swore, "Even if it's them, I won't let her get involved in this out of ignorance." Again, as the protagonist walked down the street, something caught his attention. He spotted a coffee shop and quickly hid there. Lintan was talking to a person. The protagonist observed that his sister had already met the organization, but he couldn't understand what they were talking about, due to the distance. Wanting to find out, Lin Yuan tried to focus on his ability to become invisible. He managed to enter the coffee shop with the skill, which now, at level 3, lasted for 5 minutes. Stopping at the counter, he observed Lintan talking with 2 men, Xiaopan and Haochen. Haochen, the more serious man, finished telling Lintan everything and concluded, "Joining our organization isn't just for our own good. When the disaster happens, in 3 years, you will be like us, a defense for the world." Silence fell over the table where the 3 were gathered. The protagonist watched how the situation would unfold, until Xiaopan cheerfully joked with his partner, "You scared the girl. Calm down that terrifying aura of yours." Haochen hastily reminded the man that, even if he thought he was handsome, he was talking about a serious matter. But in the middle of his speech, Haochen noticed something. Lin Yuan felt a gaze directed at him, as if he had been discovered. Haochen frowned, knowing someone was there. Immediately, he touched the ring on his finger, activating the dispel ability. The ability covered the entire coffee shop area. Lin Yuan was surprised to see that his invisibility would be dispelled in 3 seconds. But before the time was up, he disappeared and Haochen stared into space to disguise his actions. Haochen asked the coffee shop owner for a tea. While the owner prepared the order, Lin Yuan was hiding behind the counter, relieved that Haochen's ring ability took 3 seconds for full activation. Haochen drank the tea, declaring, "I hope you will carefully consider joining us. People with a sense of justice don't stand idly by in the face of disaster." He passed a card to Lin Tan to contact him when she made a decision. Taking the card with conviction, Lin Tan nodded. As the 2 were leaving the coffee shop, Xiaopan didn't miss the opportunity to tease, "I'll be waiting for you, kitty." Lin Yuan then activated the invisibility skill, again, and left the coffee shop. However, upon getting outside, he didn't find the pair who had just left. The protagonist was walking looking for them, when suddenly, a cup of coffee fell in front of him. Lin Yuan was surprised as he stepped in the drink. Having thrown the coffee, Haochen commented, "I was sure there was something wrong." A notification immediately warned that the invisibility effect had been disturbed. The invisibility was fading before the organization's duo. But before the invisibility ended, Lin Yuan disappeared from the street. The pair stared into nothingness once again, trying to check the coffee. Haochen blamed himself for being so sensitive lately. Asking Haochen to calm down, Xiaopan asked if his partner thought the girl would join them. Haochen commented that the prophet had already said that soon the young woman would join them. Xiaopan, upon hearing this, nodded, as the predictions had never failed. Xiaopan was more curious to know what kind of woman Haochen liked. But with an annoyed look, Haochen told him to focus on surviving the catastrophe first. From the top of a tree, Lin Yuan observed the pair. The group proved more difficult to investigate than he thought. He also worried about not revealing his own forbidden class to others. If that happened, life in the immortal world would become more difficult. Returning home, Lin Tan stared at the business card. She had a serious expression on her face. But raising her head, she was surprised. "Why are you here carrying a bag?" Lin Yuan stated he had just gone to buy something, and asked if his sister had eaten. Downcast, Lin Tan said she was fine, telling her not to get off work so late. He held up the bag. "I bought food. See if there's anything you like when we get home." Lin Tan wondered why her brother was trying to take care of her when he couldn't do the same for himself. Without an answer, she saw Lin Yuan preparing to go in and called him, "Let's go home." With a worried look, she followed him. When they got home, Lin Tan's mother asked if she had eaten, but she refused, just wanting to rest. Since her son hadn't eaten, Lin, Yuhan's mother, decided to prepare more food for him. At the same time, Linton slammed her bedroom door. Inside, she sighed heavily, remembering what had happened recently. She lay down on the bed. "Ever since I played that game, all sorts of weird things have happened." Linton found herself fighting monsters, but she and her friend were too weak. Her friend shouted, "Siatan, run! You're faster! I'll hold him off." They were up against a longsword mantis, a level 5 monster. The mantis's sharp claws attacked Linton's friend, who fell to the ground. Linton didn't know how to react, but seeing her friend gave her courage. "I'm on the front lines. How could I abandon her and run? Leave this to me." Linton faced countless mantises alone, while her friend fled through the forest. The giant mantis attacked with its sharp scythes, forcing Linton to block with her sword. Another mantis appeared behind her. She couldn't dodge and was hit by the monster. However, it was at that moment that she unlocked a secret class. As she struggled, surrounded by the mantises, the awakening was happening. Linton raised her sword, and with her new power, she brandished the sharp blade, eliminating the mantises by piercing their carapaces. With a will of steel, she charged through the enemies to save herself and her friend. After defeating all the monsters, Linton leaned on her sword stuck in the ground. A golden glow enveloped her, completing the awakening of the Dawnblade. After awakening the Dawnblade, Linton felt some changes in her own body. She wondered if she could truly protect everyone if a disaster were to happen. Staring at the power in her hands, she showed determination. If this kind of power can't resist the disaster, then is there any hope for others to survive? Looking at a photo of her own family, Linton decided that, regardless of whether or not she joined the system, she had to become as strong as possible to protect those who were precious to her. Lin Yuan held the same photo with determination. I can't fall behind anymore. My energy must be focused on the game, but I can't be on guard all the time. He decided to make his family live well. The next day, the protagonist visited a large building. A woman greeted him, asking if he would like to take a look at an apartment. However, he was more interested in a furnished villa with high security. Seeing that the man was young, the woman wondered if he could really afford it, and asked, Sir, have you heard the price of our properties? Holding up a black card, Lin Yuan confidently showed that he had the necessary amount. Upon seeing the card, the saleswoman got excited. This is the limited edition VIP card with 10 million. The saleswoman's excited shout drew the attention of the entire hall. Later, Lin Yuan's parents followed somewhat confused upon seeing the luxurious house he was visiting. They asked in surprise, Are we going to live here? Seeing the huge pool, Lin Yuan's mother was impressed. The protagonist's father almost fainted upon seeing the giant size of the bed. The cascading chandelier, as well as all the luxurious furniture, left them in disbelief. Stuttering, they asked how much he had spent, not wanting to pressure him into spending money. Lin Yuan reassured them, explaining that he had bought it with a prize from a competition. Having their dream of living in a villa come true, Lin Yuan's father held his wife's hands. They watched their son grow up in the blink of an eye. The protagonist was satisfied to provide such a life for his parents. As evening fell, Lin Yuan walked through a commercial district. He pondered his next steps to himself. Get my parents to play Immortal World and be careful with the organization. Suddenly, he became more vigilant. Several people blocked his path, and one of them said excitedly, Ha ha! I finally found who I was waiting for. It was hard to find you. Before Lin Yuan stood the bald man and his companions from the Black Tree Guild. The protagonist recognized Zhao Kui easily by his head, which looked like a bowling ball. All at once, numerous people ran towards him, carrying iron bars. One of them raised a bar while shouting, Anyone who challenges Lord Zhao will meet their end. As the bar moved slowly towards Lin Yuan, he activated the skill, Invisibility. He disappeared, causing the enemy to hit only the ground. By the time they realized, Lin Yuan was already leaping towards Zhao Kui. The protagonist hit the bald man hard and proceeded to take down all the others from the Black Tree Guild. Zhao Kui fell heavily to the ground, coughing horribly. An iron bar stuck into the ground next to him, scaring him even more. With an intimidating glare, Lin Yuan faced the bald man. It seems you don't value your own life. Zhao Kui stammered, trying to apologize. I was wrong. Big bro, spare me. I can still be useful. I know a secret mission. The protagonist told Zhao Kui to speak. The bald man revealed that in the main city, he should find a blacksmith named Tongs. With high favorability with the blacksmith, he would craft a golden piece of equipment for him. The protagonist remembered that in his previous life, someone had indeed obtained gold rank equipment, quickly, which raised suspicions about the game's characters. Lin Yuan squeezed the iron bar, twisting it, and advised, I hope you don't do anything stupid. I have many ways to take care of you, inside or outside the game. Breaking the iron bars with his hand, he warned, This is what will happen to you if you dare to do anything against my family. Sweating with fear, Zhao Kui got the message. During the night, Lin Yuan went to a tavern in the main city. The smell of drinks and delicious food spread through the place. A bearded old man seemed incredulous. You mean you can provide 100 pieces of gold? Stop kidding. You're a mage. What are you doing mining? But if you do it, I'll give you a free sword. Lin Yuan realized that Zhao Kui might not be lying. At that moment, a man started harassing a woman to drink with him. Drunk, she tried to escape, but she was staggering. Lin Yuan watched her in silence. The furious man said, What are you looking at? I'll gouge your eyes out. Before the man could do anything, Lin Yuan pushed him to the other side of the tavern with a warning. The drunk woman clung to Lin Yuan. What a handsome little brother. Thank you. How about I buy you a drink? However, Lin Yuan just rejected and ignored her. She tried to follow him, but tripped over her own feet. Lin Yuan reacted in time, catching her by the waist in his arms. The woman seemed to have fallen for his chivalry, but she immediately fell asleep in his arms. Lin Yuan rented a room in the tavern, leaving the woman to rest. After that, he went to the Viper Mine. Kobolds were raising their pickaxes and digging iron from the mine. With 12 zombie kobolds at the portal, Lin Yuan considered them perfect for mining a good amount. In a short time, suddenly, an explosion occurred, throwing a kobold far away. Several level 10 violent moles were running towards Lin Yuan and the kobolds. Lin Yuan summoned the Scorpion King to hunt and get rid of the moles. The scorpion swung its tail towards the animals, preparing to sting them. In an instant, the monsters were defeated. Lin Yuan also collected the moles, preparing for any kind of event. Soon the moles rose again, but a new explosion happened, even bigger. The protagonist shielded himself from the blast and soon spotted a giant mole chasing another person. The violent mole of fortune rank was at level 16, representing a great threat. Realizing that this was the mine's boss, Lin Yuan believed that someone was luring monsters on purpose. The mole boss was chasing a man, who unexpectedly also attacked Lin Yuan. The protagonist planted his feet on the ground and used them as leverage to jump back as the magic followed him. Lin Yuan was surprised, thinking it was a fixed target spell, but he realized he was wrong. It was actually a blessing spell that, upon hitting him, increased his defense points. A glow appeared on Lin Yuan, showing that it wasn't an attack from a mage, but a buff from a priest. As the priest was being chased, the people around were surprised. A man took out a dragonfly camera, ordering it to film the scene. The Sun Priest ran, telling everyone to get out of the way so they wouldn't get caught. The spectators watched the priest's escape and laughed. Seeing how the priest remained righteous even in that situation, Lin Yuan decided to help him. The people who had seen Lin Yuan on the broadcast found him familiar and invited their friends. The mole boss attacked the priest with its claws, but suddenly, the monster's attack was stopped by Lin Yuan, who held it back with his body's strength. The priest was shocked by what he saw. On a plane, Zalki was watching the broadcast. He was impressed, as even he couldn't do that. Other people walking along the trail were irritated, but all they heard about was Lin Yuan. Zalki recognized someone complaining, Nuoyen from the Fury Guild. The bald man boasted, mocking him. To be honest, the Mad Divine took advantage of the guild and the class. In terms of operations, no one compares to the Great Divine. Hearing the comparison, Nuoyen turned around. Zalki was not afraid to stand by his words. Some people even say that Quang Shen, as the leader of the #1 guild Feng Shui, should have resigned a long time ago. Nuoyen pointed his sword at the bald man, questioning who was bad-mouthing their guild. With a malicious look, Zalki commented that the Mad Divine had already fallen in popularity, and that the young people were taking over the scene. Knowing he was talking about the boy on the broadcast, Nuoyen asked where he was. As soon as the bald man revealed Lin Yuan's location, in the mines, Nuoyen declared, "Call everyone who's online. Follow me to the mines." Lin Yuan was using his sword to single-handedly defeat the Great Mole. Having attracted the monster's attention, he told the priest to leave. The Great Mole, despite the attacks, ran furiously towards Lin Yuan. It leaped at him, but only hit the ground, sending pieces of rock flying. As Lin Yuan retreated, he extended his hand, creating spiritual flames. The attacks fell upon the mole, which screamed in pain. The broadcast became even more frantic. The enraged mole didn't give up, chasing Lin Yuan through the mine. Suddenly, zombie wolves appeared, jumping on the monster. They grabbed the mole, so it would no longer chase their master. After knocking the mole down, Lin Yuan taunted, "If you only care about acting crazy, you'll suffer a great loss." Since the mole wouldn't understand his words, Lin Yuan promptly finished it off. Upon being hit, the mole howled. The kobold chieftain jumped on it to attack it as well, with its large hammer. It increased the damage of Lin Yuan's attack on the mole, hitting it in the same spot. Lin Yuan then put on his gloves, preparing a punch. He roared, "The end has come." The punch landed on the mole, eliminating it and making Lin Yuan reach level 8. The protagonist obtained the Boots of Agility and the Dagger of Pursuit as rewards. The boots were silver rank items, focused on agility and speed, while the dagger increased attack speed, and it had an ability that amplified that speed even more. The priest's eyes lit up as he approached Lin Yuan, asking if he was the master, who had single-handedly defeated the wolf boss, asking to be added as a friend. However, Lin Yuan denied being that person and ignored him, even with the priest's insistence. Suddenly, a fireball flew towards Lin Yuan's back. The protagonist spun around and with a sword strike, split the attack in half. At the mine entrance, a group smiled upon finding him. In their midst was Nuo Yan. "Let me turn you to ashes, so you'll recognize me." As they entered the cave, some of the dozens of people accompanying Nuo Yan taunted, "How dare they? Turn on the broadcasts and see what happens when they face the Fury Guild." The protagonist understood the group's intention, tried to defeat him to gain fame. However, he accepted the free delivery of equipment from this group of players. Suddenly, Lin Yuan saw a cleric's staff extend beside him. The young priest roared, "I've been waiting for this for a long time." The feeling of fighting alongside a companion in the name of justice. "I will protect important people." Lin Yuan was surprised and asked the young man to step aside. Nuoyan tried to get Lin Yuan's attention, but before he could finish speaking, the protagonist had already slapped him across the face, silencing him. Nuoyan spun like a tornado after the slap, being thrown far away. He only stopped when he was dragged several meters along the ground. At this point, the number of people watching the broadcast already exceeded 5,000. Nuoyan gritted his teeth for being attacked by a stray dog. You think you're some kind of deity? The way they treat you. Furious, he ordered his guild attack. Arrows, fire spells, and curses were launched at Lin Yuan. A knight raised his shield, preparing to charge. Confident, he shouted, "He can't handle all of us alone." Seeing how the group cooperated with each other, Lin Yuan decided to first eliminate those who dealt damage. He activated invisibility and dodged the sword attacks. Immediately, the knights shouted for the mages to use Dispel. The mages cast the spell, but it was too late, as Lin Yuan was already behind them. With a single attack, he eliminated 2 mages. Nuoyan, furious, drew his sword. He must be low on health because he was fighting. Get him. We have the numerical advantage. All the rogues attacked at once, as the guild leader had offered a reward for whoever eliminated Lin Yuan. The protagonist dodged several fireballs. As the mine was narrow, he couldn't use his zombies properly. Facing the attacks, he allowed the explosions to happen, which caught the attention of those watching the live broadcast. Lin Yuan leaped through the fire, escaping into the depths of the mine while being pursued. Nuoyan followed behind the group, commanding the Fury Guild. What he didn't expect was that Lin Yuan was on the ceiling. When Nuoyan noticed, someone was already falling on him. With a strong kick, Lin Yuan knocked Nuoyan to the ground. On impact, the Fury Guildmaster lost a few teeth. Thrown far away, Nuoyan sat up with his hand on his mouth. Damn you, sneak attacking. But in the next instant, Nuoyan felt a hand on his head and a sword touching his neck. He hastily shouted to the guild, alerting them that he had found the enemy. But Lin Yuan showed that they were alone and questioned, "If your whole group perishes, will your mad divine blame you?" At that moment, the wolves entered the cave, where Nuoyan's group had entered. The ability, Corpse Explosion, was activated, swallowing each of the players. Holding Nuoyan's head, the protagonist forced him to watch the scene. Nuoyan screamed, "What's happening?" Raising his sword, Lin Yuan ordered him to ask them in person. The broadcast showed Lin Yuan defeating Nuoyan, and the spectators were impressed. As soon as Nuoyan was defeated, the twin direction daggers dropped as a penalty. The protagonist quickly planned to collect all the equipment and leave before the place became dangerous due to the crowd. At a forge, Lin Yuan met with the blacksmith Tongs. Tongs was impressed and asked him to come back often, as the demand for iron ore was gigantic. Since the blacksmith could only collect a maximum of 100 pieces of iron per day, Lin Yuan figured the mission would take a long time to complete, even though he had mined enough for a whole month. Since he had obtained a lot of equipment from the Fury Guild, he knew that selling it directly for ranking could get the young man in trouble. Individual sales would be tedious, but it was the only viable method. Lin Yuan also planned to look for the Disciples Guild, starting with the clues he already had from his past life. The first disciple had the ability to control snakes. Therefore, there should be some clue in the civilization of the snake men. Lin Yuan headed to the city sewers. The mission accepted, given by Sheriff Chatu, consisted of eliminating 30 rats. The task seemed simple, but it was linked to a secret mission in the sewers. While hunting humanoid rats, he remembered the snake's den, a dungeon, where it was possible to obtain the flesh and blood seed, a rare item that increased attributes. The number of secret dungeons per week was limited. Therefore, when the news leaked, everyone would fight for them. Yuan planned to use his zombies to occupy the dungeon entrance, while looking for a room with snakes, where the dungeon's location could be confirmed. Upon seeing a forked tongue, he found the exact position. An explosion occurred in the sewer waters. Before Lin Yuan was a giant serpent, a creature that he had never seen before. The Hades King Cobra was at level 60, and except for its level, all other information was unknown. The snake hissed as it attacked Lin Yuan. He fled so as not to be caught, using invisibility. He couldn't let the serpent touch him, otherwise he would lose levels and equipment. Running through the waters with invisibility, he could still be detected, so he jumped from rock to rock, dodging the ones falling from the ceiling. Due to the Hades Cobra's attacks, the protagonist used the terrain to his advantage, passing through an opening too small for the giant snake to pass through. However, Lin Yuan sensed danger. Looking back, he realized the snake had brought down the passage, opening a path to try and attack him. He continued to run through the rubble, fleeing from the ferocious and venomous blue serpent. Without finding a safe place to help him, Lin Yuan summoned the giant scorpion to delay the snake and buy time to use magic. He knew that the scorpions couldn't defeat the Hades Cobra, but the situation proved even worse than he imagined, as the serpent destroyed the zombies with a single attack as it advanced. The protagonist reached a cavern, where he found a triangle-shaped exit in the ceiling. The snake approached faster and faster, destroying everything in its path. However, Lin Yuan managed to jump through the hole, leaving the sewers through the triangular hole. The snake spotted Lin Yuan but couldn't break through. The protagonist stood up and observed the ruins he found himself in. Surprised, it was the palace of the Eastern Desert, where the National Guardian was stationed, a place where any monster that approached would be eliminated, without exception. Through the triangular hole, Lin Yuan saw the serpent continue to hiss. Wiping away sweat, he commented. The civilization of the Snake Men and the Western Desert Kingdom are in a deep feud. The strength of the Desert Kingdom completely suppresses the Snake Men, generating some of the oldest tales of revenge. This meant that any dark beast or monster that set foot in the Imperial Palace would be destroyed without hesitation by the guard. Lin Yuan knew that Snake was no match for the Imperial Master. Even so, he could get some information, since the snake's den was close to the home of the monster that attacked him. To avoid future problems, he noted to himself that he should buy some potion capable of attracting small basilisks, preventing large snakes from approaching. Lin Yuan headed to the great castle of the desert city. A vendor greeted him excitedly and thanked him for his purchase. The protagonist obtained 2 potions to attract only low-level creatures. Suddenly, a voice rang out. "I crossed a sandstorm just to find you. How are you, dear friend? Dear friend." Lin Yuan realized that the one chasing him was the young priest he had met in the mine. The priest insisted that Lin Yuan add him as a friend, feeling drawn to him, and invited him to go to the next town together. But Lin Yuan ignored him, claiming to be busy. The priest quickly blocked his path. "My dear friend, don't you think the super divinity in Ashvale is amazing? Join us too." He continued. "I'll be able to unite Leng Yue and Xinghen to become the 4 super divinities and help each other awaken this fallen world." The name Leng Yue caught Lin Yuan's attention. In his previous life, Leng Yue was the president of the guild ranked 2nd in Feng Wuxia, the Water Mirror Moon Guild. Leng Yue was also a core member of the organization, and rumors said he was one of the 9 chosen ones who created the system. Despite it being an opportunity, Lin Yuan remembered that the secret dungeons would be reset the next day. He intended to secure these rewards before dealing with Leng Yue. In the end, the protagonist accepted the friend request from the player, Old Year Sun, commenting about going to a dungeon together. Next time, Lin Yuan warned that he had matters to attend to, so he would leave first. The next day, upon entering some ruins, Lin Yuan remembered that snakes would appear near the entrance of the secret dungeon, so he looked for traces of these animals. As he crouched down, he found a trail on the ground. Soon a few snakes appeared further ahead. Although they were small, he remembered to be careful. Blasting a door, Lin Yuan found the true dungeon with the help of a kobold. The dark candles were lit, while giant snake carcasses were scattered around the place, and small snakes crawled on the floor. Extending his hand to open the gate of the underworld, Lin Yuan began the operation. Exiting the gate, the giant scorpion caught the attention of the small snakes. The protagonist ordered get rid of all of them. The scorpion's tail glowed, activating the crystal storm. Several jewels fell upon the snakes, like a precious rain. Upon eliminating the small snakes, several seeds fell to the ground. The seeds of flesh and blood. Lin Yuan picked one up and brought it to his mouth. He obtained 3 spirit points. By eating the first of the 100 seeds, he could consume. Since the production of that item was limited, as was its consumption, Lin Yuan figured he could sell them for at least 5 gold coins each on the market. By clearing 1 dungeon a week, it would be possible to obtain thousands of gold coins. Even without joining a guild, he wouldn't be short on money. The second seed increased 5 physical attribute points, although the third only gave 2 points. Lin Yuan continued to eat the seeds until the possible 100 were consumed. Similarly, he took the opportunity to tame some of the snakes. Having used 100 seeds, he stored the remaining 900 to sell them in the future, also planning to return the following week to collect more. Lin Yuan left 3 zombies behind to scare off common players. No one would go to such a place so soon. The snakes that lived there proved to be different from the ones the disciple of the Dark Divine controlled, which made Lin Yuan wonder if the disciple had monster mutation abilities. Suddenly, Lin Yuan received a notification from the real world. His sister was calling, which made him worried. He answered the call, asking if something had happened. On the other side, Linton asked, "I just wanted to know if you've eaten yet." Frowning, Lin Yuan replied that he had. At that moment, he heard another girl's voice. "Big brother, I wanted to ask if it would be convenient for you to help us with a dungeon now." The protagonist confirmed, although surprised, that his sister wanted to go to a dungeon with him. Then a male voice was heard in the background. "Linton is a liar, and her brother is a braggart too." He agreed without even knowing which dungeon it was. "Linton, has your brother gone crazy from playing too many games? You always conspire to trick people." Next to the man, another girl mocked Linton. "That's right, Brother Jan. Let's choose a really hard dungeon. Ashvale. No guild has managed to conquer it. Still on the phone, Linton asked her brother. Ashvale, on heroic difficulty. Are you sure, brother? Upon hearing this, the man called Brother Jan scoffed. Ashvale, stop lying. Your brother is a liar just like you. Even your parents must be bad people for giving birth to liars like you. Furious, Linton announced. All right, Xiaotang, stop talking nonsense. I'll be in Ashvale soon. Hearing his sister's fury, Lin Yuan frowned in irritation, but decided to support her. As he waited above the cliffs of the valley, worry arose in Linton. Even though her brother played the game frequently and earned a lot of money, she wondered if he could really conquer Ashvale on heroic difficulty. She feared she was causing problems for him. Someone suddenly approached Linton. Seeing her friend Chao Shangchang approach, Linton formed a team with her. Chao Shangchang stated she had heard about the bet. It was caused only because a classmate had praised Linton for moving to a new villa, and Wang Yan overheard Zhuan treating Wang Yan like trash, which is why he was there, precisely to make him apologize in front of everyone. Linton thanked her friend for her presence before the arrogant Wang Yan, followed by several flatterers, approached. I've seen many girls like you. Your parents are working in someone's villa. That doesn't count as living there. Annoyed, Linton ridiculed Wang Yan back. Besides being born into a good family, what good do you have to laugh at others? Qiao Chang quickly ran to her friend, preventing her from getting stressed even more. Annoyed by the insults, Wang Yan ordered his followers to attack the two girls. A mage and a swordsman advanced cheerfully, forcing Chao Shangchang and Linton to prepare. Suddenly, an attack from an unknown location appeared. The blows fell upon the mage and the swordsman, breaking both their advances. Lin Yuan appeared in front of his sister, putting an end to the attackers. Worried, Lin Yuan asked if Lin Tan was okay, and as his sister replied, her friend blushed, seeing how handsome Lin Yuan could be. Wang Yan was outraged at having his followers eliminated. Are you attacking the ones who will help me level up? Do you know how much it costs to hire them? Will you deal with this? How will I be able to level up without them? The protagonist moved quickly, appearing in front of Wang Yan to question if he was the one who had cursed his parents. Before Wang Yan could curse him, Lin Yuan slapped him across the face. A red waterfall poured from Wang Yan's nose as Lin Yuan cursed him. No matter what kind of dog you are, if you dare to bark and bite people, you should be neutered. Wang Yan flew away, crashing into several rocks. Wang's girlfriend, Yan, quickly ran to help him, while complaining, "Are you crazy? You need at least 6 people for a dungeon." Lin Yuan replied irritably, "I'll take care of the missing people. Just shut up and wait." And otaku like Lin Yuan needed the mounted combat skill, obtained in Ashvale. He was already preparing for the dungeon. He opened his contact list, calling Son of the New Year, and Shang approached Linton. In the meantime, Little Tan, your brother is even more capable than I imagined. He's also very handsome. Annoyed, Linton crossed her arms. Wang Yan managed to get up and blustered against Linton's words. And Wang Yan, as a bunch of poor people, how can you find good people? Just losers, right? His girlfriend, however, was surprised to see a magic circle and a person teleporting to it. Young master, look, isn't that the big boss of the Iron Super Triangle? As soon as he appeared, Son of the New Year murmured, "When the bell of fate tolls, you and I will be destined to sail a sea of ambition with no return." Son of the New Year joined the team, shocking Wang Yan, as he was the main priest of the second guild of the Western Desert, the Water Mirror Moonflower. Excitedly, Wang Yan treated Son of the New Year with respect. "Big brother, are you going to take us to the dungeon? Thank you so much." Qiao Chang was surprised to see such a person, since someone like him shouldn't form a team with people outside the guild to which he belonged. Before Linton could understand, she encountered something. Son of the New Year ran towards Lin Yuan with shining eyes. "Best friend, you finally remembered me. I knew you would definitely take me to a dungeon. As soon as I received your team invitation, I hurried here quickly." Lin Yuan irritably extended his hand, preventing Son of the New Year from approaching. Wang Yan and his girlfriend's jaws dropped, to the point where it was possible to put a watermelon in their mouths. The boss? New Year asked that guy to carry him in a dungeon. How is that possible? Isn't he just a nerd? Shocked, the girl told Wang Yan to hurry and talk to the priest. Seeing them ridicule Lin Yuan, Son of the New Year got angry. "What are you talking about? I came here especially for my best friend. He's the best of the best." Lin Yuan told him to shut up so they could enter the dungeon. At that moment, Wang Yan again accused Lin Yuan. "Now I get it. Your brother is also hiring someone, Lin Tan. But Ashvale, on heroic difficulty, is so hard that not even the #1 guild, Fury, could conquer it. What can the second guild's priest do?" With a sharp look, Lin Yuan both ended the discussion. "Shut up and just watch at the portal." Inside Ashvale, the first person appeared. Level 18 ash lizards, red monsters with horns and spikes, were scattered throughout the desert valley. As the monsters' attributes were so high, even Son of the New Year wondered if Lin Yuan would be okay, wishing he was at a higher level to be able to help more. following behind the group. Wang Yan thought of something. I think he invited a priest to try to clear each monster, slowly. But we can't let him succeed. We need to attract as many monsters as possible. Hearing Wang Yan's thoughts, the girl with him understood his intentions. She extended her hand using a fire magic. The attack fell near the ash lizards, alerting them. Seeing the intruders, the first of the lizards hissed its sharp tongue towards them. Lin Yuan frowned as he saw the lizards move. Xiao Chang was startled to see so many ash lizards advancing towards them. Shocked. Linton didn't remember seeing so many monsters. In the tutorial video, Wang Yan was satisfied and mocked. It seems your luck isn't very good. Son of the New Year was excited to see the situation. Dear friend, your fighting spirit has been awakened. This battle will make us more united. With much excitement, Lin Yuan summoned the lightning scorpion. The scorpion snaked its tail with its crystal stinger and shot lightning from its eyes, attacks that swallowed the ash lizards. While telling everyone to take cover, Lin Yuan advanced into battle. The sword was brandished from one lizard to another, turning them into giant sashimi. Wherever Lin Yuan passed, with his sword in hand, he had become the dominator of Ashvale. Linton also advanced to protect her friend from a lizard as big as her. But Linton appeared before the lizard could jump on Linton and attacked it with a thrust. Watching her brother, Linton couldn't help but notice how good he was at the game. As well as strong and reliable, Lin Yuan patted his sister's head, making her blush as he reassured her. Don't worry, I'm here, and I won't put you in danger. Being pampered, Linton frowned, annoyed like a tsundere. Xiao Shangchang looked at her friend with shining eyes, wanting to be in her place. Wang Yan, after seeing Lin Yuan in action, was convinced that Ashvale was extremely easy. Therefore, he believed that with a silver rank equipment, he would not be inferior. Wang Yan looked for a monster in the surroundings to prove himself. Upon finding an ash lizard, he advanced. This is the true power of young Master Yan. The lizard was surprised to see someone attack it, and counterattacking, it just swung its arm, hitting Wang Yan's cheek and throwing him away. Feeling how strong the monsters were, Wang Yan tasted the pain of the attack as he fell to the ground. Lin Yuan told him to try to stay alive and wait for him to complete the dungeon. Originally, Lin Yuan wanted to give Xiao Tong a golden equipment, but he would have to give her only some silver ones. For now, the protagonist released from his inventory an armor and gauntlets, equipment that suited his sister. The gauntlets of the fighting spirit, as well as the fearless armor, mainly increased attack power and constitution, in addition to effects on critical damage. Wang Yan's friend was impressed. Those rank pieces of equipment, silver could be exchanged for countless luxury items. In her eyes, Lin Yuan was giving millions of yuans to Lin Tan, without even blinking. Lin Tan refused the equipment, however, stating that she would get her own equipment. Smiling slightly, Lin Yuan observed his sister's stubbornness. Soon, Son of the New Year used his sacred power to attract the ash lizards, while increasing the power in Lin Yuan so that he could eliminate them. On the other hand, Lin Tan and Chao Chan also helped as they could. Lastly, Wang Yan continued to flee from the monsters chasing him. One of the ash lizards swung its tail like a hammer, falling upon Linton, who used her sword to protect herself. With determination, she stated that she could fight, but the lizard extended its tongue towards the girl, intending to devour her. At that moment, several spirit flames crossed the battlefield, falling upon the monster and leaving it with less than 1% of its health points. Linton attacked the lizard, feeling that her brother was still the same as always treating her like a child. She didn't want him to intervene anymore. Seeing his sister's reaction, Lin Yuan felt that it was increasingly difficult to give her some equipment. On one side, Linton continued to attack the monsters that Lin Yuan helped defeat, while he eliminated most of them. Secretly watching one give rewards to the other, Chao Chang couldn't help but call them memorable. Watching the two of them was even more fun than hunting monsters. Soon, all the monsters in Ashvale were eliminated. The group advanced again until they reached a closed area. Son of the New Year, leading the group, warned that the final boss was just ahead. He asked Lin Yuan if they should leave to prepare first, since they still wouldn't suffer penalties. If they fought the big boss and lost levels and equipment, the damage would be too great. Lin Yuan agreed with Son of the New Year's decision, but he wouldn't let them run. This is hilarious. He's so good at defeating small monsters, but he's scared when he meets the big boss. Qiao Chong didn't want her friend to take risks. Linton, it's already quite impressive that your brother has brought us this far. Downcast, seeing that she would be causing problems for her brother, she wondered if the current situation would be this way if she were stronger. However, with a confident look, Lin Yuan stepped forward. Son is correct. That's why you don't need to do anything. I'll go alone. Dark energy emerged, creating the Great Gate of the Underworld, through which countless zombie monsters, an army of them, invaded Ashvale. Wang Yan couldn't understand what was happening, seeing so many summoned beasts. Son of the New Year mocked Wang Yan's surprise. Are you teaming up with my best friend? And you still don't know his strength, whether it's defeating a world boss alone or facing an entire guild. He's the best I know, the strongest. Leaving aside Son of the New Year's praises, inside a den, a large dragon-headed lizard was waking up. A ball of spirit flames crossed the entire den, traveling towards the monster. It woke up feeling the danger, but due to its size, it couldn't dodge, and was hit by the attack's explosion. Furious, the Ash Lizard King roared, leaving its nest. The Rank King level 21 monster had 10,000 health points, a muscular body, and a collar of spiky scales. Lin Yuan prepared to face it with the kobolds, who carried spears and pickaxes. Behind a mountain, Aoshang observed the boss monster's stats. Its 1,200 attack points were enough to eliminate each of them, instantly, if it hit them holding the sword, firmly. Linton didn't intend to let her brother run into danger because of her. She advanced onto the battlefield, stating that she would draw the Lizard King's aggro. As soon as she took a step forward, however, she fell into a trap skill, the light imprisonment conjured by Son of the New Year. The priest warned, "Watch from here. You'll only cause problems if you go there. Let's just appreciate the elegant operation that my best friend will conduct." The Lizard King, refusing to acknowledge the enemy, opened its mouth, gathering a large amount of energy. The jet of flames was launched, aggressively advancing towards Lin Yuan. The protagonist showed perfect control of distance by dodging the Lizard King's attack. At the same time, wolves, kobolds, and vultures jumped on the boss monster. The Lizard King was pressed down as the zombies attacked it. Snakes also appeared, biting the monster's ankles. With precise calculations of the Lizard King's skill cooldowns, Lin Yuan coordinated his summons to replace those that were being eliminated. Seeing how Lin Yuan seemed to know all the boss monster's information before the battle even started, made Son of the New Year appreciate a fight that could be called pure art. Observing her brother, Linton wondered if this was his true strength. Wang's girlfriend, Yan, had already fallen in love with Linton. "Brother Linton is so amazing. Let's go. Defeat the big lizard." With a grim look, Wang Yan was getting annoyed. If this continues, they'll really succeed. I'll be embarrassed in front of the whole class. Grabbing his sword furiously, Wang Yan planned a sneak attack. If he could make Lin Yuan make a mistake, the big boss could finish him in a single attack. The protagonist continued the battle against the Lizard King, wielding his sword against the wide-open mouth. With 3% of its health remaining, the boss monster tried to use a bite skill on Lin Yuan, but he escaped. Since the skill had an 8-second cooldown, the protagonist found a chance to finish off the lizard. At that moment, Wang Yan laughed behind him. "You want to defeat the lizard? I won't let you." The protagonist saw Wang Yan trying to attack him and mocked internally, "Idiot." He spun his body, making Wang Yan miss the thrust and pass right by him. With the spin, Lin Yuan launched his leg like a whip, hitting Wang Yan from the side with surprise and pain, to the point where his eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Wang Yan flew away. He was thrown towards the Lizard King, who was already preparing a new bite attack. To finish off the Lizard King, Lin Yuan used the skill Corpse Explosion on his zombies. A large fireball consumed the Lizard King, as well as Wang Yan, who still had a few health points left. At that moment, a server-wide notification was announced. Congratulations to the players. Son of the New Year Alley. Song. Lin Yan, follower of Young Master Yan and unknown name, for completing Ashvale on heroic difficulty for the first time. Xiao Shangchang hugged her friend, praising her brother. "We really did it, Xiao Tang. Your brother is so cool and amazing." "That was awesome. Can you ask him to carry us more often in the future?" Lin Tantan was still in disbelief, so she just made up a random excuse. "He's always busy. We'll talk when we get a chance." New Year's Son was excited, but he was already expecting it. "As expected of my best friend, I'll let him have the glory this time. Next time I'll show them the pinnacle of priests." Wang Yan's girlfriend had already switched sides, asking to add Lin Yuan as a friend. Hearing Wang Yan's friend praise his friend, and him irritated New Year's Son. Acting on Lin Yuan's behalf, he used an attack skill to finish her off. With Wang Yan and his friend eliminated, Lin Yuan headed to the Ash Lizard King to use shadow summoning. The large zombie lizard walked into the gate of the underworld. Immediately upon being raised, a chest had appeared. Lin Yuan called everyone to share the prize. Qin Xiang recalled how Lin Yuan had conquered the dungeon alone and stated he was happy just to be able to complete the mission, stating he only needed 2 skill books and scrolls. Lin Yuan declared they could have the rest. Inside the chest, there was a silver rank sieve, as well as bronze rank wrist guards, a bronze rank sword, and boots of agility, also bronze rank, were found alongside them. Eyeing the equipment, New Year's Son asked them to sell all the items to him. Qin Shang didn't mind just getting the money, telling Lin Tantan that this way, Wang Yan wouldn't bother her anymore. Lin Tantan left to do some other missions. Before she got too far, however, her brother called her. When she stopped, he asked if she would accept the equipment he wanted to give her. From the moment her brother had entered the dungeon, he had demonstrated incredible skills. She had never seen such a large number of summons before, which made her wonder if her brother was also the chosen one of a secret class. With that in mind, she questioned, "Since you started playing this game, have you felt any changes in your body?" Lin Yuan wondered if it had been noticed how Lin Tantan had contacted people from the Order. He couldn't reveal the secret of the undead hunter yet. To protect his sister, he answered her question with another. "No, why has there been any change in you?" Lin Tantan quickly backed away and, claiming she had a mission to turn in, fled. Lin Yuan watched his sister with a smile. Even after growing up, she was still a very bad liar. However, she had been able to talk to him this time, which meant she recognized him as her brother. Suddenly, New Year's Sun called out for Lin Yuan, as several people followed him. He waved. "Good thing you haven't left yet. Leng Yue just decided to open the nightmare difficulty of Ash Valley. I said you were a close friend. We're sure to succeed this way." Lin Yuan didn't expect to get in touch with Leng Yue so soon. This was a good opportunity to investigate if the first disciple was hiding in the guild, Moonflower in the Water Mirror. The protagonist accepted the offer, stating that he was already thinking about tackling the new difficulty. Hugging Lin Yuan, New Year's Sun showed his relief. "You really are my best friend. Come, let me introduce you to the core members of our guild." The first to be introduced was the captain of the Divine Triangle and the president of the guild, Moonflower in the Water Mirror, the beautiful Miss Leng Yue. Leng Yue greeted Lin Yuan, stating she had heard about him for a long time. She welcomed him. Next, New Year's Sun introduced Qing Han, a master of conjurations, someone with a rare class and the mage of the Iron Triangle. The mage, however, did not yet recognize Lin Yuan as a teammate. He didn't want a random player on the team. With a restrained look, Qing Han stated, "Nightmare difficulty has a low tolerance for errors. A random player like him won't cooperate with us. He'll only slow us down. I don't want to take any risks. Do you understand what I'm saying?" New Year's Sun didn't understand what Qing Han meant, since Lin Yuan had just carried him through heroic difficulty. With a secret smile, Leng Yue commented, "I've seen plenty of full-of-themselves people, so you can't say that we're ganging up on you. I'll give you a chance. If you can drain half of the boss's health, I'll give you a piece of gold equipment. But if you drag us down and are the reason for failure, you'll have to compensate for all the losses." Qing Han stared at Lin Yuan, trying to intimidate him. "Did you hear me? It's not too late to give up and leave." Faced with the challenge, the protagonist's battle instinct was ignited. "Oh, a piece of gold equipment? I'll gladly take it. Just make sure everyone is watching, so you don't go back on your word later." Leng Yue stopped the argument from getting more heated. "All right, Qing Han. We agreed beforehand that Sun's friend would join us. If you had any objections, you should have raised them earlier. The decision has been made. We'll stick to the original plan. Everyone will cooperate and we'll conquer the dungeon." Qing Han was irritated to hear that Leng Yue was really going to accept help from an outsider when the difficulty was so high. Warning that he wouldn't repeat the words he had just said, Leng Yue told everyone to enter the dungeon. Qing Han gritted his teeth, swearing internally, "Leng Yue, I'll show you that stray dogs are useless, and I am your only indispensable companion." Inside the dungeon, the level 18 fire lizards roamed normally. A gleam of light appeared, catching their attention. With red eyes, the monsters stared at the humans who appeared in the center of the valley. New Year's Sun was shocked and worried. The difficulty was so ridiculous that they found themselves surrounded the moment they entered the dungeon. Leng Yue extended her sword, commanding the melee classes. "Advance! There are too many monsters. We need to find a chance to get past them." While Leng Yue advanced to draw the monsters aggro, Sun rose into the air, casting a blessing spell on his companions. Annoyed, Qing Han maliciously conjured several lightning balls. He planned to throw them all at Lin Yuan in a backstab attack. A lizard suddenly jumped on the group. Qing Han had forgotten to look at the monsters. Behind them, Leng Yue charged to stop the monster while complaining, "What are you thinking? Qing Han, wake up." On the other side, New Year's Sun realized they had been surrounded. Even the monsters behind them left no room to maneuver. The group's archer was under tremendous pressure, as was the shield bearer. At that moment, Lin Yuan raised his hand and declared, "Leave this to me." The gate of the underworld appeared behind him. Wolves left the gates of the underworld, roaring as they advanced. A tamed boss monster quickly pressured one of the lizards that were attacking the group. The other wolves jumped together onto the giant monsters, using their fangs to take them down. At the same time, Lin Yuan brandished his sword, making mincemeat of each enemy. The archer was impressed. Thanks to Lin Yuan, she wouldn't have to sacrifice a pet to save them. On the other hand, Qing Han was furious at being pushed to the background. Inwardly, he swore that Lin Yuan wouldn't leave the dungeon alive. Qing Han ran towards Leng Yue to explain himself somehow, but she pushed him away, telling him to stop getting distracted. The group continued to attack the monsters when a new wave announcement appeared. Everyone was engaged in the fight. The archer and the shield-bearer fought together. New Year's Sun conjured his buff skills, while Lin Yuan cleared an area and Xing Han struggled to keep up with him. Ling Yue observed Lin Yuan. Being able to quickly analyze and resolve the crisis showed he had a rare reaction time. She intended to invite him to the guild as soon as they left the dungeon. Xing Han, who was watching Lin Yuan the whole time, grew increasingly irritated. He gritted his teeth, looking for a chance to embarrass him. Suddenly, Xing Han launched several attacks at Lin Yuan, pretending to be trying to help him. The protagonist frowned but saw it as an opportunity to get closer to Ling Yue. The protagonist succeeded in his acrobatics check to bend his body and escape the lightning spheres. At the same time, he used a skill to draw the aggression of the lizards around him. At that moment, the protagonist felt someone grab his hand. Ling Yue grabbed him and pulled him up, escaping the attack of two monsters. As they decided which one each would defeat next, Lin Yuan attacked the one on the left, while Ling Yue charged with her sword at the lizard on the right. With heavy blows, they both crushed their targets, knocking them to the ground. With their sword skills, they managed to solve the problem. However, their actions caught the attention of several other monsters who charged at the pair. As they fought in coordination, New Year's Sun happily praised the combination. The archer also got excited. The president and that handsome guy have great chemistry. The protagonist commented to Ling Yue that she had used a skill he had never seen before. She revealed it was nothing special, just a technique she learned, by luck, thanks to a skill book. Lin Yuan took the opportunity to praise, "The second guild is truly a place full of talents. Do you have any experts with special skills? I'd like to exchange some techniques with them." Seeing Lin Yuan's interest in the guild, Ling Yue invited him. "Join Moonflower in the water mirror, and you'll find out." The protagonist changed the subject, with a smile, claiming he plays alone. That smile left Ling Yue dumbfounded, as she recognized him. Seeing how dazzled Ling Yue was, Xing Han became furious, asking what Lin Yuan had done to make her like that. New Year's Sun suddenly ran towards the group. "Report. I've got all the equipment. We'll share it after the battle." Ling Yue, "Should we fight the boss as planned?" Ling Yue nodded in response. At that moment, Xing Han approached with a smile. "Wait, I want to apologize to this friend. His strength is beyond what we expected. With his skills, we'll definitely perform better." Maliciously, he made a suggestion. "Why don't we let him help draw the boss's attention?" The protagonist smiled upon hearing the suggestion and retorted, "If I draw its attention, I won't be able to fight, let alone remove half of the boss's health. Are you backing out of your bet? Reluctant to give me a piece of gold rank equipment?" Xing Han crossed his arms internally mocking him, believing that Lin Yuan wouldn't even withstand a few attacks, and tried to instigate him. "You worry too much, friend. As long as we finish the mission, I'll give you the equipment." Ling Yue intervened, stating she wouldn't authorize last-minute changes. Xing Han this time tried to convince her. "Come on, Ling Yue. I know you admire him. Why don't you let him make that decision?" The protagonist frowned, seeing Xing Han as a problem if he wanted to get closer to Ling Yue. Calming down, he noted internally that he would deal with him later. To show off, the protagonist accepted. They soon arrived at the boss monster's lair, with Lin Yuan in the lead. New Year's Sun stated, "Dear friend, let us see your strength." Xing Han promptly sneered, "Idiot. He probably doesn't know that the boss's area attacks are designed specifically to counter summoned beasts. This will be fun." The protagonist, however, already knew all the mechanics, having faced the monster in his past life. Conjuring a spirit flame, he threw it at the sleeping monster. The attack hit the side of the Lizard King, waking it. It roared furiously, overflowing with more energy than the Lizard King from the previous difficulty. The shield-bearer was worried. The boss monster was level 25, while many of the players were only level 15. Ling Yue stepped forward, telling everyone to be on alert, while Xing Han scoffed internally. The Lizard King tried to stomp on Lin Yuan, who jumped to the side. Immediately, the kobolds appeared to help him. The protagonist realized that the Lizard King's first attack was the same as the previous one. While Lin Yuan drew its attention, everyone attacked the lizard from behind. The lizard launched a wave of flames. The protagonist jumped to dodge, while Xing Han watched, treating him like a little mouse trying to escape. Suddenly, the lizard swung its tail, hitting those who were trying to attack it from behind. Ling Yue shouted hastily, "Xing Han, use your quick control skill." However, Xing Han responded too late. While they blamed Xing Han, the group was hit and thrown far away. Furious, Ling Yue exclaimed, "Why didn't you use the lightning to paralyze the boss's tail? Wasn't that your job? Do you know the great opportunity you made us miss?" Xing Han cowered, trying to apologize. New Year's Sun remembered that everyone's health was already low, and it would take time to recover everything. He didn't see how his great friend could handle the boss alone. In the meantime, the shield-bearer beside him was already warning that they couldn't abandon the dungeon, or they would suffer great losses. Irritated, Ling Yue told everyone to learn from what happened. Our new teammate didn't make any mistakes. We were the ones who got in his way. I'm here to inform you that he is withdrawing from this instance, and all losses will be borne by the guild. The archer at that moment noticed something. President Wait. He doesn't seem to be affected. He's defeating the Lizard King by himself. The protagonist, seeing that the group could no longer approach, decided to face the boss alone. He had the scorpion to use poison and paralyze its tail. The great Lizard King opened its mouth, roaring to prepare an attack, but it was too slow. The electric scorpion had circled around the Lizard King, ready to interrupt the cast. Paralyzing lightning was fired by the scorpion, crossing the ground between the two, hitting the lizard and causing paralysis. As soon as the monster was hit by the negative effect, all the beasts charged at it. Leng Yue was shocked to discover that Lin Yuan also had a beast with the lightning attribute. Xing Han felt he was being made to look worse than a simple summoner. The confident New Year's son cheered up. Great! My great friend is really going to handle the boss alone. Let's regenerate our health quickly to help him. However, Xing Han was still smiling, hoping that the boss's area attacks would destroy the beasts summoned by Lin Yuan. As he expected, the energy attacks reduced the monster's health to their lowest points. At that moment, Lin Yuan used a skill Dark Curse. Immediately, a werewolf's health was completely regenerated. Xing Han was in disbelief. How did he restore the beast's health? Doesn't that mean he could defeat the boss alone? As soon as they regenerated enough health, Leng Yue stepped forward. Get ready, the boss is almost finished. Let's help him together. As soon as its health points dropped to a certain point, the Ash Lizard King activated the skill, Furnace of All Things. With the air turning red, Leng Yue shouted hastily, "Watch out! This is its most powerful skill." Xing Han gritted his teeth, refusing to let Lin Yuan win. I want Leng Yue to just perish along with the monster. He suddenly raised his staff. Get out of the way. I'll interrupt. The boss. He activated the Ring of Thunder Resistance skill, and the magic surrounded him. The Ring of Lightning spun around him, almost hitting Leng Yue. The attack rushed towards Lin Yuan, who was already expecting to be betrayed. From where the protagonist was, he saw Leng Yue being thrown far away. Amid the confusion, he jumped to catch her in midair. Holding her like a princess, the protagonist asked her gently to hold on to him. The boss's attacks exploded all around as Lin Yuan jumped to dodge, carrying Leng Yue with him. With the boss defeated, an announcement went out to the entire game. Congratulations to the unknown player and the player's New Year's son, Leng Yue, Xing Han, Sword Saint, AAA and Beast Tamer, for completing the dungeon, Ash Valley on Nightmare level for the first time. Blushing from being carried, Leng Yue commented, I never thought you were so young, and yet so experienced, as to not panic. The protagonist smiled, attributing such skill to luck. Leng Yue made a request. Even if you don't join the guild, I want you as a friend, so we can play together in the future. As soon as the two added each other as friends, New Year's son carrying a golden chest commented, This is the first time I've seen her so shy. Realizing she was still in Lin Yuan's arms, she asked him to put her down. At that moment, information appeared that Lin Yuan had contributed 80% to the completion of the dungeon. He approached Xing Han, demanding the gold rank equipment. Xing Han cleared his throat, changing the subject, and asking them to look first at what they had obtained from clearing the dungeon. However, the protagonist refused, demanding the equipment first. Gritting his teeth, Xing Han tried to dodge. I'll give it to you. Don't worry, I just need to find a piece of equipment to replace his. The protagonist smiled, questioning if he wanted to avoid paying his debt. Leng Yue intervened, stating that Xing Han's equipment wouldn't be of use to Lin Yuan, and suggested he choose an item from the drops first, from the boss, while she, herself, would buy a suitable piece of equipment for his class. The protagonist agreed to the plan, but asked if instead of the equipment, he could exchange techniques with the masters of special skills. Leng Yue smiled. Since they had conquered the dungeon thanks to him, she stated that when she returned, she would ask the other guild members if they had free time. Almost forgetting the Lizard King, the protagonist approached it. As soon as he began to extract the Lizard King's soul, he received a notification. Your zombie kobold miners were eliminated in the sewer. The protagonist was shocked. There shouldn't be players hunting near the secret dungeon. 3 zombies should scare away anyone who approaches. This situation. Could Snake Master be responsible? He didn't want to miss the opportunity to find the first disciple, and quickly ran to the portal, exiting the dungeon. Using invisibility, the protagonist reached the sewers through a secret passage. He soon found the slain kobolds. Checking the monsters, there were no signs of a struggle, indicating the enemy was very skilled in surprise attacks. Examining the neck of a zombie kobold, he found a snake bite. The bite was too large to have been made by the snakes in the secret dungeon, and the Hades snake should have swallowed the kobold whole. Given this information, the protagonist concluded that the culprit was the Snake Master. Suddenly, Lin Yuan sensed a presence and turned around hastily. Several bone-eating snakes, the level 15 boss monsters, attacked him stealthily, even though he was invisible. The snakes landed where he had previously been after he jumped to escape, conjuring spirit fire. The protagonist launched attacks, trying to discover the snake's abilities, still unknown. As soon as he eliminated a few, a last one, more powerful-looking, was left to face him. The snake attacked trying to bite Lin Yuan, but raising his sword, he blocked the bite. Well, guys, that's all for me. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. And if you liked it, don't forget to leave a like and comment for more parts. It makes a huge difference to us. If you're new, subscribe to our channel and go ahead and binge watch the videos to distract yourself. See you next time, bye.